The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Thursday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. Running Point presented, as always, by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you are in the market for a new or slightly used car, make sure you head on over to Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Look up my buddy Greg Greenwood. Check him out. Check his people out, from the salespeople to the finance people to the mechanics and the people that are going to service your car. They're second to none. They're fantastic all the way around. There's not a weakness on that team. If they were a sports team, they would be a dynasty. Greenwood Chevrolet, Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. They are the sponsor of Running Points. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. Hit me up, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. 109 days from the greatest 4 words in the history of sports, pitchers and catchers reports. Oh, my God, it's going to be a long off season. It just is. Especially if you're an Indians fan, knowing that your team is not going to be spending all that much money. Yeah, it's going to be a long year. It's going to be a long off season. We'll talk a little bit about that. We got some volleyball and one soccer game from yesterday. Congratulations, Division IV Western Reserve polished off Badger in 4 sets. Wellsville. 3-0 victory over Heartland Christian. They beat them 3-0, 25-17, 25-22, 25-15. So Wellsville and Western Reserve advancing in the D4. D3 district semifinals. South Range was beaten in straight sets by Cardinal. Hubbard in D2. Excuse me, D2. Where the hell did that come from? Wow. That doesn't happen very often. Excuse me. I feel like I've done a faux pas. D2 division district semifinal. Notre Dame Cathedral Latin. They swept Hubbard in 3 sets. D4 district semifinal. Columbiana winner in 4 sets over Newton Falls. Back to D2. Marlington beat Girard in straight sets. Girard closes out their season at 18-7. D4 district semifinal, Mineral Ridge over St. John, beat them in 3. D3 district semifinal, Crestview polished off Pie Valley in straight sets as well. Boys soccer, D1 district semifinal, Hudson all over Fitch. They beat the Falcons 7-1. So unfortunately, in Division 2, we're done as far as local teams that are left. Girard got beat. Hubbard got beat. It doesn't look like anyone's left in Division 2. Actually, let me take that back. Lakeview is left. I do apologize. Lakeview is left in Division 2. So we do have representation in Division 2, and that is Lakeview. Saturday, the district finals in volleyball. Fitch is our D1 representative. They're going to be playing at Nordonia. Our D2 representative is Lakeview. They're going to be playing at home against Notre Dame Cathedral Latin. We do have a two teams, and we're guaranteed to have a team in the regional. District 3, or I should say Division 3 district finals, Mooney at Crestview, and we do have a guarantee of a team going to the regionals, whether it be Mooney or Crestview, and we have two teams guaranteed to go to the regionals in Division 4. Western Reserve is at Wellsville. Columbiana is at Mineral Ridge. So all four teams, local, all over the place in the supersized district in Division 4. So half of the regional will belong to the Mahoning Valley, and that's a good thing. All of those games, by the way, are going to be at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Let me backtrack a little bit because we do have girls soccer district championship tonight. 6 o'clock start, D2. Kenston is at Canfield. The winner goes to the regional, and we do have an automatic regional team in Division 3. The district championship game, champion comes down to South Range. They'll take on the Raiders. Both of these games at 6 o'clock. We are guaranteed a team going to the regionals. It'll be either champion or South Range in Division 3, and hopefully Canfield gets the job done tonight against Kenston in Division 2 at Canfield. All right, obviously Friday is going to be a football Friday, and the games that we have involving the YSN family, Canfield is at Streetsboro in D3. D7, Dalton will be playing at Kennedy. McDonald will be playing at Lucas. One local team not in the YSN family is Harding. They will be at Hudson in Division 2, and all of these games will start at 7 o'clock. So we have two teams, make that three teams that are going to be on the road. So they're the lower seed. Three teams that are the lower seed, Harding, Canfield, and McDonald. They're the lower seed. And then one team that is the higher seed, and that's Kennedy. And Kennedy is the number one seed in Division 7, Region 25. So fingers crossed that we get winners, and more winners. Saturday, we made mention the volleyball district finals. We also have the boys soccer district finals. All of these games will start at 1 o'clock. Aurora is at Howland in the D2 district championship game. The other district championship game is Poland at Chagrin Falls. So hopefully both Howland and Poland will advance to the regionals. And again, these are the supersized district finals where they've combined two districts into one supersized district. So you essentially have two districts that will equal out four regional teams. You've got a top tier district in Aurora and Howland, the bottom tier district, Poland at Chagrin Falls. These two teams, whoever wins these two games goes to the regionals, and then the other supersized district, top side, bottom side, and the winners will encompass the regional tournament. Division 3 district championship. South Range will be traveling to Badger. The winner of that game goes to the regionals. And we will have two local teams in the regionals. Again, thanks to four local teams encompassing both supersized districts. South Range is at Badger. Columbiana is at Cardinal Mooney. Both of those games will start at 1 o'clock. The winners of those two games will go on to the regionals. So we're in pretty good shape, especially in Division 3 in boys soccer, in Division 4 in volleyball, where we're guaranteed to have two teams in the regionals, which normally you wouldn't. Normally you'd only have one team in the regionals because all of the teams in the district would be, in normal circumstances, we would have four district tournaments. The winner of each district tournament goes to the regionals. So instead of that, because of COVID and because of the everything involved with that, trying to figure out where teams are going to be playing and whatnot, they decided to supersize the districts, combined 2 into 1. So because of that, it's worked out well for the D4 volleyball, where we'll have 2 teams from the area in the regionals. And it's going to work out well for the boys D3 soccer because we'll have 2 teams going to the regional. So that gives us a 50% chance of having a team go to state. But that would be nice. It's been a while since we've had a volleyball team go down to state, so that would be nice. That would be very nice. So we'll see what happens. We are guaranteed a team in the district, or I'm sorry, in the regional in Division 3 in volleyball, and we are in pretty good shape to get at least 1, hopefully 2, in D2 boys soccer. Pretty good shape to get Lakeview past, and they got to get past Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, D2 in volleyball. Fitch is going to be on the road. We'll see what they can do. But the area looks to be in pretty good shape going into the regional tournament. We should have some pretty good representation in both girls volleyball and boys soccer. Girls soccer, we'll see. We'll see what we got. We definitely have a regional team in Division 3, the winner of Champion and South Range. And if Canfield and they're home, if they can beat Kenston, then we have 2 teams going to the regional in girls soccer. And that's not bad. That's not bad at all. All right, 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline is open for business. On the program today, we will hear from the head football coach of the McDonald Blue Devils at about 2:40 today, Coach Williams. We will get him on the air at 2:40, working backwards. Canfield coach Mike Pavlansky will be calling in at 2:15. Now, we have reached out to Coach Perlogo from Warren JFK. Hopefully, we'll be able to get him on and have the trifecta from our YSN teams. Coming up at 1 o'clock today, we will hear from the voice of the YSU men's basketball program, Rob Schmidt, and we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming season, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the decisions that the NCAA has made that is going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. We have seniors that aren't going to be seniors this year. The NCAA decided, and this snuck by me, and I'm sure it snuck by a lot of people. The NCAA decided recently that the seniors would have an extra year. So the soon-to-be seniors, those in their last year of eligibility, really aren't in their last year of eligibility this year, because next year, should they choose to come back, they get an opportunity to come back. Now, think about this for a second. That means, and there's no guarantees. Listen, there's no guarantees in life. I mean, other than the fact that you have to pay taxes, and other than the fact that there is death involved, and possibly the Indians never winning a World Series. Okay, kind of sort of a guarantee. We're not really sure about that one. It's been too long, though. Neither here nor there. Think about this for a second. Let's assume for a second that Michael Akuche and Naz Bohannon and the rest of that talented senior class. Let's assume for a second Youngstown State has a good year. Now, first of all, let's pray to God, capital G, that we have a basketball season, first and foremost. But let's assume for a second. Let's assume for a second that this basketball team has a really good year. 20-plus wins. Deep run into the tournament. Well, actually, let me dare to dream here. 20-plus wins, and they win the Horizon League Championship. And they go to the NCAA tournament. Okay, they get eliminated in the first round. I mean, let's be honest. If Youngstown State were to go into the tournament, they're probably a 14, maybe a 15 seed, and maybe even a 16 seed because they haven't been there before. So, yeah, they're probably getting bounced in the first round because they're a low seed. So they go one and done in the NCAA tournament, but they get to the tournament. They don't do this. We're going to do a play-in game BS in Dayton. No. They get to the tournament, and it's one and done. You think Akuche and Naz Bohannon and the rest of this senior class would like a second shot? And oh, by the way, Darius Quisenberry, knock on wood, well, pray to God that he comes back. All of these guys now, last hurrah. You got to remember, Darius Quisenberry is one grade or 1 year behind Bohannon and Akuche and the rest of that senior class. If those seniors decided after this basketball season, hey, we're going to do this again, and they all come back, now you have a second time to either A, accomplish the goal, and the goal here is win the conference championship, and go to the NCAA tournament. And my guess is win a game in the NCAA tournament. Look, I remember in the 90s when the YSU Lady Penguins, which by far and away is the best basketball I've ever seen at Youngstown State, men's or women's. And the unbelievable group that included Anne Marie Martin, Liz Hoger, Shannon Beach, Colleen Cook, Breanne Keneally, Lisa Rotuno, the head basketball coach over at Stony Brook, Caroline McCombs. Shit, that was great basketball. I mean, that was great basketball. And they went to the NCAA. A combination of that group went to the NCAA tournament 3 times. One and done the first time. They upset Memphis the second time and were eliminated in the field of 32 by North Carolina State. And then they were one and done the third time around. If the YSU men can get to the NCAA basketball tournament and win a game, holy crap. Could you imagine what that does for recruiting and what that does monetarily for the athletic department? So the idea of Naz Bohannon, Michael Akuche, and this senior class potentially getting 2 shots, 2 bites at the apple, and the apple being the NCAA basketball tournament. You get 2 shots. If you want it, you get 2 shots at the apple. Hell yes, I want 2 shots at the apple. Especially if this team falls short. If this team makes a deep run in the Horizon League tournament, but they fall short, they lose, let's say, the semifinals, or they lose in the championship game, absolutely. Bring them all back. Let's do it again, and let's hope and pray that you get over the hump, you get into the NCAA tournament. Hell, even if this team were to win the conference championship tournament, you go to the NCAA tournament, you lose in the first round, hell yes, bring them all back. Let's do it again. Let's see if we can go further next time. At the end of the day, the fact that this class gets 2 bites at the apple, 2 chances, if you're a YSU fan, whether it be the men's basketball team, the women's basketball team, or both, you have got to be smiling like a butcher's dog right now. You got to be smiling ear to ear, because this team, if everyone decides to come back, and on both teams, if everyone decides to come back, you have 2 years of a lot of potentially special moments. You got 2 years worth of potentially some really special moments coming up. That to me, oh man, that just, if I were in their shoes, yeah, it's a tough decision. I mean, you're in your early 20s. You want to ultimately make some money, especially if you're doing a really good job and you're set to graduate and you're ready to go out into the workforce. Yeah, it's going to be a tough. It would be tempting. It'd be very tempting to sit back and go, you know what? I did everything that I wanted to do. I'm going to go out into the workforce and I'm going to get mine. No problem with that. But I got to be honest with you. This particular scenario, I would want 2 shots, 2 legitimate chances to make some serious inroads with this program. And we'll talk with Rob Schmidt about that at 1 o'clock. To me, and look, it's not just Youngstown State that's going to benefit. It's every team in college basketball is going to benefit this. Every team is going to benefit by this. There's no two ways about that. But let's be honest here for a second. The major schools, those kids, they're not going to go back. I mean, some of them will, but a lot of them aren't going to go back. A lot of them are just going to sit back and go, okay, I'm talented enough to go to the NBA now. See ya. I'm just going to go to the NBA. Where this is going to affect in a good way, it's going to affect the mid-majors. I think the mid-majors are going to be so much better off in the next 2 years with this decision. And the mid-majors include Youngstown State. They're in Horizon League. The mid-majors are going to be benefited by this because there are not very many mid-major teams that have players that, and no disrespect to anybody, not many of those teams have players that are ready to go to the NBA after 3 years or 4 years. They're not a slam dunk, pun intended, to go right into the NBA. So the idea that these players could have an extra year of eligibility, it's going to help some of the Power 5 conference teams, no two ways about that. But this is going to help the mid-majors far more than it's going to help the Power 5 conference teams. Because some of those Power 5 conference teams will lose those really good players to the NBA draft. And that's something we'll definitely talk about with Rob Schmidt when he joins the program at 1 o'clock. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. A dreary, just a typical northeastern Ohio fall day. Rain. Colors are still very vibrant, but it's raining. It's overcast. You don't see the sun. Typical northeastern Ohio weather in the fall. Hopefully, we get a reprieve tomorrow night, and there's a dry track across the plains of Streetsboro, Mollenkopf Stadium in Warren, and Lucas. Again, Division III, Canfield will be at Streetsboro. That game starts at 7 o'clock. All three of the playoff games will start at 7 o'clock. Dalton will be coming to Mollenkopf Stadium in Warren to take on Kennedy. We made mention of the pronunciation of this team in East Central Ohio. It would be spelled like you would say Dalton, but it's not Dalton. It is Dalton. People from that community gave me all kinds of hell many moons ago when I think it was broadcasting a D4 regional basketball game. And there were some people that were giving me all kinds of grief. Hey, it's not Dalton. It's Dalton. Okay. But then it got me to thinking, and we mentioned this earlier, how some of the towns, and not only in Ohio but across the country, some of these towns, you look at them and you would say what you would think, and then it's not what you would think. Classic example up in Trumbull County. You go up to the airport in Youngstown. Now, for those that are not familiar with the Mahoning Valley, or those that have never lived in the Mahoning Valley, or have no idea of the pronunciation of that town, one would look at this and go, Vienna. Yeah, named after the city in Europe, Vienna. No two ways about it. No. It's not Vienna. It's Vienna. So it's, our area has one of those communities where, you would think it's pronounced one way and it's not. And clearly, the village in east central Ohio is not pronounced Dalton. It is pronounced Dalton. Nonetheless, they're coming into Mollenkopf on Friday night, and Kennedy is the top seed, and we'll see what JFK can do on Friday nights at Mollenkopf. McDonald gets an opportunity to exercise some demons from last year, 2 times over, I might add. Yeah, the football team, they lost to Lucas. They also lost, the basketball team, also lost to Lucas in the regional semifinals. So Lucas last year pretty much owned McDonald 2 times over, and McDonald's football team is looking for a little revenge from last year's overtime loss to Lucas. By the way, that propelled Lucas not only to win Division 7 Region 25, but to get all the way to the state championship game where they were blown out by Maria Stein Marion Local, who is still alive, by the way. In Division 7 region, or in Division 7, not necessarily in Region 25. They're in Division 7, and they're a tough nut. There's no 2 ways about it. They're going to be a tough nut to crack. Maria Stein Marion Local is that is a really, really tough team. Matter of fact, let me as I've said. On a number of occasions, Kirtland might be the best program, D4 down. And this, obviously, we don't have a dog in the hunt on this, but I would probably pay minimum $20, if not more, to see Maria Stein Marion Local and Kirtland play. Good Lord, that would be a great game. Oh, God. That would be an unbelievable game. Anyway, D7 Region 25, Kennedy is home to Dalton, and McDonald will travel to Lucas. With any luck, maybe we get an all-local matchup in D7 Region 25 that would guarantee us a spot in the state semifinals. Saturday nights, we have one local matchup. All-local matchup, and then we have 2 all-local matchups, my mistake. Division 4, Region 13, Ursuline will be at Poland, and Division 5, Region 17, Crestview will be at South Range. The other game is in Division 6, Region 21, Mogador will be at Springfield, and all 3 of those games, all 3 of those games are going to be top-notch football. And all in the area, and it should be an awful lot of fun. And the only downer in all of this is the fact that you can only have 15% capacity in all 3 of these games. I mean, it's good for us. Don't get me wrong. $9.99 will get you all. Will get you all 3 of those games. If you plan on purchasing Crestview at South Range. You'll also get the opportunity to flip around between that game, Ursuline at Poland, and Mogador at Springfield. $9.99 will get you those 3 games, and you would have to be absolutely out of your mind not to take advantage of that offer, because that's as good as it gets, kids. YSNLive.com. Make sure when you are purchasing the game of your choice, make sure that you are going to use the equipment that you're planning on using the game, or that you're planning on watching the game. So in other words, if you have an iPad and you're planning on watching whatever game you choose from your iPad, then you need to have your iPad, and you need to go to your iPad and then go to ysnlive.com. Click on Teams. You'll have a drop box. click on the team that you are wanting to see for that particular night. And then you would fill out the credit card information, $9.99. Keep in mind, 25% of that is going to go back to the athletic departments of your choosing. Again, by choosing the team, which team you choose will determine the 25% going back to that team's athletic department. So if you are a big South Range fan and you plan on watching because you don't have a ticket and you're not one of the fortunate 15%ers that are going to be heading over to the new digs on 46, then you can go to ysnlive.com, click on teams, drop box falls down, go to South Range, click on them, and fill out your credit card information using the device that you're planning on watching the game from. Because, again, if you, let's say you have an iPhone, and you're not planning on watching the game from the iPhone, you're planning on watching the game from another device, but you fill out the credit card information using the iPhone, you're going to be watching the game from your iPhone. So it's that important that you must make sure you're using the device that you're planning on watching the game from when you fill out the credit card information. It's extremely, extremely important that you do that. And again, number one, 25% of your $9.99 investment will go back to the high school athletic department. That's number one. And number two, and just as important, if your game happens to be a blowout and you want to go see a couple of other games, all you need to do is just, you're going to have it available. The other two games on Saturday night, Ursuline at Poland, Mogadore at Springfield, Crestview at South Range, those three games are available. Whichever game you decide to pick, the other two games are going to be available to you for you. So let's say that you're a Springfield fan and you want to watch Springfield take on Mogadore, and the game gets out of hand in the third quarter. I mean, I don't think it will, but, let's hope that it does. The game gets out of hand in the third quarter. Springfield's absolutely kicking Mogadore's backside, and the game's at hand. But there's two exciting games going on at Poland and at South Range. Well, as a person who spent $9.99 for this pay-per-view, you have an opportunity to go to either one of those games. Like I said, you would be out of your mind not to if you're a football fan and you have an opportunity to see these three games because you're not one of the 15%ers that were fortunate enough to get a ticket to the game of your choice, I got to tell you, you'd be out of your mind not to take advantage of this because it's $9.99, number one. Number two, you're going to be saving $2 because you're going to be paying $12 going into the at the gate. Yeah, they're charging $12 for high school football. We're only charging $9.99, number one. Number two, 25% of your investment's going to go to the school of your choice. It's going to go back to the athletic department. That's pretty important. And the cherry on top of this perfect Sunday, the fact that you have access to the other two games. What, are you kidding me? So I get an opportunity to see three games for $9.99? Hell yeah, sign me up. Absolutely. There's no two ways about this one. Sign me up. So definitely take advantage of that. But as I said, and this is so vitally important, make sure that you are using or planning on using the device that you're planning on watching the game from. You got to use that device to fill out the credit card information. Otherwise, you're not going to be watching the game from that device. All right, 330-886-0813. We'll take a timeout, take some phone calls. Rob Schmidt coming up at the top of the hour. Coming up at the in the 2 o'clock hour, we'll be busy. Coach Pavlansky will be calling in on the hotline as we'll get him on at 2:15. Canfield getting set for a showdown with Streetsboro up in Streetsboro. By the way, that's a pretty easy place to get to. It's on 14. It's on the left-hand side. You literally cannot miss Streetsboro High School. You cannot possibly miss Streetsboro High School. If you're traveling on 14 headed to Streetsboro, it is on the south end of the village, and you can't miss it. It's a monstrosity of a building, and the football field is right there. It's a K through 12 building, and it's on State Route 14, and it is completely unmissable. You'd have to be zoned out and not paying attention to miss Streetsboro High School, the K through 12 building, and the football field behind the K through 12 building. So it's pretty easy to get to. It's on 14 in Streetsboro on the south end of Streetsboro. Canfield Ticket on Streetsboro. We'll hear from the head football coach of the Canfield Cardinals. We will hear from Mike Pavlansky coming up at 2:15. At 2:40, we will hear from Coach Williams from the McDonald Blue Devils. They have a date, a return date, 1 year in the making against Lucas. And we'll see what McDonald can do differently, what they learned from last year, what they can do differently this time around. We'll have a lot of fun talking with the head football coach of McDonald, Dan Williams. All right, we'll take a timeout. On the other side, your phone calls. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. It's a Thursday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit. Stick around.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
telling more local stories
We'll look at efforts
Boy
to
is
curb
recovering from a broken.
around our
Good
valley
afternoon. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at WRSInsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
To Greenwood Chevrolet because
I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Ron Potesta with you. Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. 0813. That's 330-886-0813. Where are we? On October the 29th. I'm not sure if this is September news or it's still October news. My guess is it's October news because the NFL will be playing their next games, well, other than Atlanta and Carolina. The NFL is going to be playing their games in November. Myles Garrett was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Month. I'm going to assume that that is October, being the fact that Atlanta and Carolina are both NFC teams, and the AFC is pretty much done for the month of October. They are done, as a matter of fact. The next games, as I mentioned, are going to be on Sunday, November the 1st. So Myles Garrett, the AFC Defensive Player of the Month for the month of October. Congratulations to him. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Emmanuel, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on, brother?
Well, how you doing, my brother?
I'm good. What's up?
Well, you're like Tony Romo to me. You know, he does that commercial about the beer, whatever it is. Put your shingle out. I want to talk about baseball here.
Yeah, please do.
Before we talk about high school football.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I'm watching the World Series. I'm a Yankees fan. You know that, right? And I'm watching the pitcher. I'm watching the pitcher just doing pretty good. Doing darn good. Well, excuse me, I hate saying it, but doing damn good, right? Mm-hmm. And Mookie, unbelievable player. But if you look at how he's hitting, at least in the playoffs, he's hitting right-handers to throw hard better than left-handers.
Yeah, he was clueless against lefties in the postseason. not just against Tampa Bay. He was clueless against lefties in the postseason. Period.
So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at that, right? And then so I see Skipper, the Skipper come out there, and he says, the Skipper has said for the whole year, you guys have to have a short memory and a thick skin. I'm coming to get you.
Yeah.
Okay. Analytics. What I'm saying is this: the thing that makes baseball different than any other sport is the gut feeling. How do I feel about getting this guy? I look in his eyes, can he hit this guy? If you take that away and go strictly like robots, is this still baseball?
No, it's not. And look, I said this. I mean, it's yesterday, or not yesterday, it would have been Tuesday. Tuesday night is the perfect example of why baseball has become a very tough sport to watch. Because everyone is now looking at this game from a perspective that, frankly, nobody should be looking at. Strictly, I'm not talking. I'm not saying that you can't use analytics. I mean, there's an important part of analytics in every sport, but to sit back and say this is the be-all, end-all, and that's exactly what Cash did when he took Snell out of the game. That was the message. This is the be-all, end-all, and instead of looking at the obvious, which was Blake Snell was kicking ass and taking names that entire game, and nobody was hitting him. In terms of, I don't think I could count on one hand.
And the one hit he gave up, wasn't a hard hit.
Yeah, I can count on. I might be able to count on one finger the amount of balls that were squared up when Snell pitched on Tuesday night. So for me, the idea that you're going to take him out of the game based upon the fact that you have a predetermined notion that you don't want your pitchers to face a guy a third time up, you deserve to lose. You absolutely deserve to lose because you're putting one particular aspect of this game as the be-all, end-all. And I'm here to tell you, whether you're doing it to analytics or whether you're doing this strictly by non-analytics, you deserve every bad thing from a baseball standpoint in your direction. You deserve that because you screwed up. It's the eye test for me was 50 million times more important than any number that you can give me, because Blake Snell on that particular night was unhittable in terms of of people being able to square him up. Now, that doesn't mean that I would have kept him in the ball game if Mookie gets a hit and one other person gets a hit. But from that particular moment when Mookie Betts stepped to the plate, there is no way on God's green earth that I am taking Blake Snell out of that ball game. And when Blake Snell dropped the F-bomb, I pretty much would have done the same thing because it was inexcusable for Cash to take him out.
Let me ask you one question before we go to high school football. You traveled around in baseball, right? Have you ever been in a dugout where the guys in the dugout were happy that they were pulling out the pitcher?
Oh, my God, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, Emmanuel, no question about it. I mean, in nights like that, forget about, the playoffs. I mean, the regular season, when you have nights like that where somebody gets taken out of the ball game and they have been so dominant that the dugout just looks and says, thanks for the gumball. All right, now we got new life here. And that's exactly what the Dodgers did. I mean, they looked at this and said, hey, thanks for the gift. Now we're going to beat you guys. And the offense cranked it up because Snell was out of the game. And again, let me just back up and say this again. Blake Snell wasn't going to go 9 innings, nor would I have let him go 9 innings. But I sure as hell would have let him go as long as he continued to dominate the team. It made no sense whatsoever to take him out of the ball game. And I understand you have the pre-concept notion of taking people out before the third time through the order, but you have to understand there are going to be times in which you must prevent yourself from exercising that option. And this was one of those times because Blake Snell was unhittable that night.
So you're telling me the days of the Earl Weavers, the Spark Andersons, the Billy Martin, those days are gone?
Well, no, I mean, it's Earl Weaver and Billy Martin. They yanked their pitcher as fast as possible. So did Sparky Anderson. I mean, it's, But they
went with gut feelings. They didn't have a predetermined.
From that, from that perspective, absolutely. No, those days are long gone. It's the gut feeling in baseball is it's long gone. By and large, you now got people that are just going to be basically managing and playing based on numbers and little else. I mean, you'll see it every once in a while because there are still some managers that are willing to use gut. Yeah, but look, I mean, it's a numbers based game, and that's why the game has become a very tough thing to watch. It's become a lot tougher to watch based on what has happened with the way the game is being played.
Now, real quick, you got a guest and you got coaches coming on. I'm wondering how many of them are just tearing up the playbook or stop watching the films of their opponent, because I'm going to tell you something. Artificial turf can handle snow. You can blow off of it. We've seen that before. Artificial turf can handle rain. But when that artificial turf gets that cold, drizzling rain like we have it now, those little crystal things start. It ain't quite ice, and it's not quite snow. And the football feels like it's a frozen pumpkin. And if you catch it, it feels like somebody threw a brick at you. A lot of offenses really don't work when it's like that. What do you think? And which teams do you think? I think that bodes well for teams like Poland and Canfield. But go ahead.
Well, the speed factor is pretty much it's not taken away, but it's handicapped. If there's ice pellets that are on the field, it's one thing to have a slippery surface due to rain. You can still cut on the turf in rain, but
that's why there's a crown in the middle. Even with artificial turf, there's still a crown.
Yeah, exactly. And if there's ice pellets, okay, now that's a completely different animal. Now the speed factor is handicapped to the point where the 3 yards in a cloud of dust, or in this case, 3 yards in a cloud of pebbles, will essentially be the team that has the much better chance at winning. I mean, and I don't know if we're going to have ice pellets forming.
Well, the weather is looking pretty bad.
Well, yeah, but I mean, are we going to get into the low 30s and mid 30s and have some freezing stuff? I don't know. I mean, honestly, honestly,
if you playing what it is now, that's pretty bad, Ron. You looked outside?
No, I mean, it's pouring down rain down here, and it's 46 degrees here, so that's not bad weather. I mean, now 34 is going to be the low on Friday, but around here it's not going to rain. Saturday is supposed to be 50 degrees for a high, 41 for a low, and there's no precipitation in the forecast. So I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. Next weekend is the weekend that. Depending on whether we have Indian summer, which is pretty likely at some point. Hopefully, we get Indian summer next week, where the conference championship games will be played in a much more comfortable atmosphere next week as opposed to this week.
Well, I appreciate you taking my call, but. Always remember one thing. I think it was Dean Martin. Remember, we're having a blue moon, my brother. So I'll talk to you later.
Listen. A full moon on Halloween. I'm just saying, a full moon on Halloween is it's a little scarier than Friday the 13th. Just gonna throw that out there.
It's the second one, so that's the come they call it a blue moon.
There you go.
Education, my brother.
I understand. All right, see ya. 330-886-0813. I mean, everyone sits back and the folks that love to have the Friday the 13th and all that other stuff that bugs people. Hey, full moon on Halloween is even spookier than Friday the 13th. I'm just saying. That's full moon on Halloween. Yeah, that brings out the. That brings out a little bit more chills than Friday the 13th. Because Friday the 13th to me is just, it's superstitious. I mean, both of them are, let's be honest. But Friday the 13th is a little more superstitious. Halloween brings out all the crazies. And Halloween on a full moon, craziness times 10. I mean, look up some things. When there's a full moon, people act differently. Certain people do. Certain people act differently when there's a full moon. Put Halloween into the equation. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now we're talking some weird stuff. And by the way, Halloween night on a full moon, Ursuline in Poland, Crestview in South Range, Mogadore in Springfield, going to do a little trick-or-treating. And the trick-or-treaters in this case are going to be Ursuline, Crestview, and Mogadore. Ursuline, Crestview, and Mogadore are going to be doing the trick-or-treating because, well, let's face it, they're going into the homes of Poland, South Range, and Springfield. So let's do a little Halloween analogy here. Does Ursuline, Crestview, and Mogadore steal the candy from the home people and say, trick or treat, give me your candy? Or does Poland, South Range, and Springfield turn their lights out and say, you ain't getting no candy from this place. Mosey your ass on away from here. You ain't getting candy from us. Just saying, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Halloween, full moon. Yeah, that's nothing strange is going to happen Saturday night on high school football. No, not at all. Halloween, full moon, nah. Nothing strange will happen on Saturday nights. Move along. 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline, open for business. We'll take a time out. Rob Schmitz will be joining us. Youngstown State, the YSU men's and women's basketball program, embarking on their season. We're going to try to figure out when the season starts. We're not 100% sure of the conference schedule yet. There's still him and Han about that, although Jared Calhoun made mention in the Curbstone coaches meeting about back-to-back. That's not yet been made official by the Horizon League, but we'll see if they settle on that the next time that they meet. What we do know is the senior class, the soon-to-be seniors or the current group that's in their last year of eligibility really isn't going to be in their last year of eligibility. They get an extra year. So anyone that is currently in their last year playing basketball for Youngstown State, men's or women's team, they're really not in their last year of eligibility because they are going to be invited back for the 21-22 season. What does that mean for the YSU men's team? I can tell you right now, if everyone decides to come back, it means YSU is going to have a damn good basketball team for the next 2 years. I'm just saying. We'll hear from Rob Schmidt about that, and should be a fun time when we talk with the voice of the YSU men's basketball program. Rob Schmidt coming up next. It is a Thursday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you're in the market for a brand new or slightly used car, check out my friend Greg Greenwood and his staff at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. I kid you not. If this were a sports team, they'd be a freaking dynasty. They have got unbelievable sales department. They have got an unbelievable finance department, and they have got an unbelievable service department. Game, set, match. They're a dynasty. Check them out. Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. They are the sponsor of Running Points Monday through Friday, noon to 3 on ysnlive.com. Back in a bit.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms. It just tastes better.
With Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Ruud gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Ruud, and so should you.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Points on YSNLive.com. Happy to announce that we did get in contact with Dom Prologo from JFK. So we will have JFK head football coach Dom Prologo on the show today at 1:30. At 2:15, we will have Canfield head football coach Mike Pavlansky. And at 2:40, McDonald head football coach Dan Williams will all be on the show, and they'll all be talking about their team in the regional semifinals. All right. Joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline is no stranger to those who follow the YSU men's basketball program. He's the voice of the YSU men's basketball program. Rob Schmidt joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. Mr. Schmidt, how are you today?
It's always good to hear from you. Always a pleasure.
All right, let's talk about something that I got to be honest, Rob. The Horizon League or the NCAA snuck a fastball past me because I did not know until Jared Calhoun made the announcement during the Curbstone coaches meeting on Monday that the NCAA had actually given the soon-to-be seniors, the folks that have 1 year of eligibility left, an extra year. So this needs to be said. Naz Bohannon and Mr. Akuche and the rest of that incredibly great class, Jared Calhoun's first recruiting class, this is not their last year. If they choose to come back, they can come back for the 2021-2022 basketball campaign. Rob, this is huge news for YSU.
No, it really is. It takes a lot of pressure off of this season, and I don't mean pressure to win. When the preseason polls, and some of them come out in certain magazines, and when the Horizon League's preseason poll comes out, I expect YSU to be either preseason number 2 or preseason number 3. Some magazines have already picked them at preseason number 2. So I don't mean takes the pressure off of expecting to finish 1 or 2 in this league. It takes the pressure off of these young men having to decide whether to play or opt out. So, if they were going to be told, look, you're only going to play, the NCAA's already said you're only allowed to play a maximum of 27 games, including one of the exempt tournaments that we're hoping to host. You can only play 20, so you've already lost 4 games of your regular season. And, a lot of people are thinking you're not going to get all 27 games in because there's going to be some cancellations like we've seen in college football due to COVID. So, if you go to a kid and say, look, you're only going to be guaranteed to play 13 games, well, the kid might opt out. Now what it does, it takes the pressure off of them having to make that decision. So now they can go play this year, and whether they play 15 games or 25 games, they don't have to worry about being gypped out of their senior season. And that's really, both the men and women's side, that was a big decision that they don't have to make now. So it's good on that front that they can kind of go out and play carefree. But it's also good, obviously, for both our men's and women's teams because they're both expected to be really good this year and not to continue that into next year. The only thing it does allow now, here's the thing, it does allow some of those teams in the Horizon League who are just starting to, move the arrow north. It gives them another year to get a little bit better and get a little bit closer to the top of the heap, where this year, they might go through some growing pains. Robert Morris, first year in the league, Purdue Fort Wayne, first year in the league. Now they're going to get 1 year where they can kind of let their kids go through this and then bring them back next year, and they'll have a better understanding of how hard it is to play in this league. So it's good. I think it's going to be much better next year. I think you're going to see a lot more competition. You're going to see a lot more graduate transfers next year. But it is big news, and it's good news for us because all these guys can come back and really kind of build upon what they've started 3 years ago.
Rob, honestly, I think this is a great equalizer for the mid-majors. I mean, forget about just the Horizon League, the mid-majors in general. And I made this point in the first hour. Let me see if you'll agree on this. Look, the Power 5 conferences, if you're good enough and you have a solid season, you're not going to want to come back for another year of college if you have an opportunity to go to the NBA. So a lot of those kids that had solid years will wind up going to the NBA. So it's going to hurt them. The mid-majors, I mean, let's be honest. There's not a lot of mid-majors teams, not a lot of players. There's going to be a handful of players, but not a lot of players are going to have that opportunity to go into the NBA and certainly become a lottery player or certainly become a first-round draft pick. So I think in the end of this, next year is going to be a great equalizer in terms of the NCAA tournament. I think that you're going to see a lot of mid-majors crashing the party in last year or in next year's NCAA basketball tournament, and it wouldn't surprise me if a mid-major wins an NCAA championship next year based upon this particular rule.
Well, you're right. I think that's the thing at our level is we've got some players in this league, and Darius Quisenberry's already tested the waters to get a better idea of where his game is at. On the whole, though, you're right. Most of the players in the Horizon League, their future's overseas, like a Kendrick Perry who came out of here, or a Cam Beelan who have been very successful overseas and just never got an opportunity, like a Kendrick Nunn out of Oakland, to latch on in the NBA. So that's where the mid-majors have always been able to pull off some upsets in the tournament because they've been around. They played together for now going to be 5 years. And the mid-majors were always kind of retooling their rosters every year, the Power Fives. So I'm not going to disagree with that. I think continuity is big, and I think you're going to see some seasoned veteran teams that could very well, if they don't have anybody like a John Morant that could come out and go to the NBA, they're going to be together for 5 years. I mean that's huge, and it definitely could wreak havoc in the rest of the basketball world.
Rob, let's talk a little bit about the upcoming season. There's a lot of excitement, not just with the men's team. There's a lot of excitement with John Barnes and the women's team as well. And the news has just made things even more exciting because there's a pretty good chance we'll see 2 years of pretty special basketball at Beagley. There was already some great expectations for this basketball team in Jared Calhoun's 4th year. So many kids are coming back. The majority of the great talent that we saw last year at Youngstown State all coming back. There's a lot of expectations around Penguin Nation.
Oh, I think the big thing is just getting to that first game. I think they're so. They've been very good. Both programs have been very good about staying within their circle, not trying to branch out, staying put in the apartments or the dorms, to make sure that they don't test positive. But I think, once they get to that first game, I think some of that anxiety will go away. Once they're actually able to compete and they can get back in the flow and concentrate on basketball. But I think it'll be a lot of fun this year. I think again, they got to be fluid. They got to understand that they may not play for a couple of weekends if another team maybe has to beg off when they test positive. But no, this is one of those years. And in all honesty, I think the women have a really tough road to hoe because you bring in Robert Morris, which is a very good women's program. Purdue Fort Wayne is a good program. Then you add that with IUPUI in Green Bay and Milwaukee. Difficult for the women, but I think they're up to the task. For the men, I think a lot of people know because they've seen us play Robert Morris how well coached they are. Fort Wayne is a solid team out of the old Summit, but this is where I think we have the most returning players. I think we are the most well-rounded men's team in the Horizon League as far as guards and big men, with the players that they've brought in who are freshmen. So I think that goes a long way. That's where all the anticipation is. It's just the amount of returning players that we have that not a lot of teams in this league have right now. I mean, Wright State will be preseason one primarily because they're bringing back a really good front line led by Loudon Love, but I think their guard play is going to struggle early until they learn how to play with him and figure out how to feed him the ball and run the offense that Scott Nagy wants to run. We don't have that concern. Our guards are all back. Our post players are back. So that's where the excitement is, and I think these guys have taken it upon themselves. They know what the goal is, and I think they just get into the first game. Just get to that first weekend and let them go, and then I think a lot of the anxiety will go away.
It's no secret that through the years, you've always had a partner on the road. And what I mean by that is in league play, two teams would travel to the same or the same area. Cleveland State and Youngstown State, if they made the trip to Michigan, one team would play Detroit, the other team would play Oakland. 2 nights later, you would flip-flop. With Robert Morris being in the league and assuming that they decide to do the two teams going in the same area, does Youngstown State now have a new partner in Robert Morris?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I know Coach Calhoun mentioned that, as you and I had talked earlier, he mentioned a scheduling quirk maybe for this season only. It's not official yet, where they're still waiting to release it from the league. They've still got a few snags that they got to take care of, but this year we might not have actual travel partners because of all the scheduling quirks. But moving forward in a regular season where we would go back to playing Thursday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday, we would now be matched up with Robert Morris. They would move Cleveland State and Purdue Fort Wayne together as travel partners. So, yeah, we would actually have a new traveling companion, and they would classify Wright State now, Robert Morris as our traveling partner.
Rob Schmidt, the radio voice of the YSU men's basketball program, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. We made mention the scheduling is the Horizon League hasn't come up with anything official yet. Jared Calhoun made mention of a potential schedule, but nothing is set in stone. In a perfect world, we would have our normal conference games, but. Break down the conference. How many teams are we looking at now, and how many conference games are we looking at now, Rob?
We've got 12. So now, with the addition of Purdue Fort Wayne and Robert Morris, it's a 12-team league. I think the original schedule before all this COVID kind of really threw the monkey wrench into it was a 20-game league schedule. But then Robert Morris got included in this. I don't think the league was expecting Robert Morris until 21-22. Well, when they announced to the Northeast Conference they were leaving, the Northeast Conference said, "Well, you're out." So they said, you're not playing in our conference. So you're either going to be independent, or you got to figure out something else. And the Horizon, they said, "Okay, we'll now take you in a year early, and we'll incorporate you into our league schedule." So what that did, it created a 20-game schedule, but it would not be a round robin. So there were some scheduling quirks there that they had to work out. And then this whole thing hit with the pandemic, and it just made it a more difficult situation. But for those that kind of read and look at college basketball ahead, there's a lot of conferences right now that are playing these back-to-back weekends where you're playing the same team Friday and Saturday, or you're playing the same team Thursday and Saturday. They're trying to limit travel is what it really comes down to. They're trying to limit the amount of flights you have to take. They want you on the bus more. They're trying to limit the amount of hotels that you're staying in. So what you're going to see across the landscape in some mid-majors is going to be not so much travel partners and not so much a regular schedule of, okay, let's say for the Mid-American Conference you play Akron on a Thursday, Kent on a Saturday. or Wednesday, Saturday in the MAC situation. Now you might play the same team in back-to-back nights or in 3 nights. You play a game, take a day off, play a game. That's probably what you're going to see more of moving forward as they try to limit all of the exposure that you'd have to come in contact with.
Well, obviously, if we're going to really save some time, and this goes back to something that I wish the Horizon League would do in general, is go back to the men's and women's doubleheaders. If the YSU men are going to be home, then the YSU women should be home, and let's have a doubleheader and have everyone go 2 for the price of 1.
And that's not too far off. That because of the way that they may have to be creative with this scheduling, and with buildings either being booked or for whatever reason not available, they may end up having to have more doubleheaders this year within the league. Now, like Green Bay, for example, Green Bay's men play off campus in a building called the Resch Center, which is next to Lambeau Field. Well, they're not playing, at least for the first 2 months. It might be the whole season. They're not playing in that building for cost reasons because they got to rent the facility, they got to pay the power, and they got to pay the workers to set up the court. So, from what I understand, they're not playing in the Resch. They're playing on campus at the Crest, which is where the women play, which is a beautiful facility on campus. Seats about 4,500. It's really a great setup, but they're both going to play there. So now they may see some doubleheaders where they couldn't before. Similar situation with Purdue-Fort Wayne. The men play off campus at a municipal arena. They may come on campus now and play alongside the women. So you may see more of that. I mean, there might be, because of scheduling situations, there may be more doubleheaders this year.
And I think that it's a great idea, and for a program that was struggling in recent years to get people to come to Biegele to see the product, I think it's perfect sense. Now, obviously, you would be watching 2 games instead of paying 1 admission for 1 game. You'd be paying 1 admission for 2 games. But I think if you can get 4,000 or 5,000 people in a normal year at Biegele to watch the 2 games, it's better than 1,500 one game and 2,500 in the men's game. I mean, it makes better sense that way. However, this is not going to be a normal year, and that leads into the next question. What is the seating going to be like in this COVID world in which we're in, Rob?
Well, that's the $1 million question right now, Ron, is what are you doing as far as seating in your building? We've all kind of seen what the NFL has done. Some stadiums are empty. Like for the Browns, they submitted a 46-page PowerPoint presentation to the state that allowed them. They initially asked for 12,000. They got 6, as you know, for 2 home games, and then they were allowed to bump up to 12. So you've seen the NFL kind of take different stances. Major League Baseball obviously said no fans until they got to the World Series, and then they were minimal. So that's the big question now, is there is a consortium here in the state that we've kind of gotten involved in that involves Cincinnati, Xavier, Ohio State, Wright State, Dayton, Cleveland State, the Cavs, Nationwide Arena where the Blue Jackets play. All these venues, the Covelli Center's involved as well, kind of asking for a variance. Right now, from what we're told, protocol says you can have no more than 300 people in your building for an event, which is, that's why the Covelli Center can't host any events right now. You can't make any money hosting 300 people at an event in the Covelli Center. Arenas like Dayton or Cincinnati or Xavier, 300 people, that's going to take care of your parents, which is your primary concern, but they want a variance. They want to try to be allowed, if it's a 13,000-seat arena, Cleveland State wants 2,000 people to be able to come to their games. They're asking for 15%. The 15% seems to be the number. Some places might want 20. If we asked for 15 at Biegele, that would give us a little over 900 fans. So I think each school is hoping that the state will allow its individual venues to understand all the safety protocols and then kind of set their own limitations based on that, as opposed to a flat 300 people. Because those buildings like, Nationwide Arena, Schottenstein Center, obviously they seat much more. They seat 20,000, so 300 is nothing. If they can get 15%, that gives them a little bit more of a fighting chance to accommodate season ticket holders, parents, students, depending on what venue you're talking about. So that's the question right now. That's what everybody's kind of waiting to see. What's the actual mandate going to be? Are we going to be allowed to get a variance? Are they going to be holding firm to 300? Are leagues going to come out, like the Big Ten in football? I was told Ohio State is only allowed to have 600 family members, and the visiting team can have 400. So in the horseshoe for that Nebraska game, it should have only been a little bit over 1,000 people in the stands, because that was a Big Ten edict. I talked with the guy from Ohio State, and that was the Big Ten mandating 600 Ohio State fans in the stands and 400 visiting fans. So it depends on whether the conference steps in and says, all right, you're either going to, A, not have fans, or you're, B, going to be allowed to have. So there's a lot of wild cards right now.
It's confusing as heck, and obviously someone in Columbus better say something pretty quickly here because, by the way, the calendar's about to flip to November, and that's basketball time. So somebody better wake up someone down in Columbus and say, get on the horn and let's make a decision here, snappy.
Yeah, no, we've – and we've, and we're not the only ones. Other universities here in Ohio have done the same thing. They've been meeting regularly, setting up different scenarios. That's really where you're at. You kind of have Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. So you kind of got some protocol in place, so you know who you can reach as soon as you're allowed to find out what your attendance figures can be, and that's really where we're at right now. It's just a matter of which plan are we going to utilize, and who are we going to be able to get into the building to watch these kids play. So it's we're just kind of waiting for the word, and then we can move forward with one of the plans that we've come up with. But that's really what it is right now. It's just preparing for all facets, and you're hoping best case scenario. That's really kind of where you're at, because that'll be the one that'll allow the most fans. That's the one where you've got to execute the most safety protocols. The worst case scenario is they tell you no fans, and then you're not worried about anything as far as safety protocols except for the players on the floor.
Lots of work to be done in the next 3 weeks for this season to come off without a hitch, and obviously you got to have the schedule officially put out. You have to make sure we figure out what exactly we're going to be doing attendance-wise. And through all of this, Jared Calhoun is just having his kids working out, and Coach Barnes is having his kids work out. And look, I mean, I've said this on a number of occasions. The team that's going to wind up winning a championship in this COVID world is the team that's willing to adapt, willing to change, and willing to be flexible. And the good news is Coach Calhoun and Coach Barnes are both very good candidates to do all of the above.
Yeah, I would agree. No, you're right about that. You got to. The kids got to maintain a positive attitude. That's really the big thing. You can't get discouraged with losing a game or two here or there. That's why I said when we first started talking that it's important that they get this year back now, so they don't get upset or discouraged about losing 4 or 5 games from their season. So they just got to maintain a positive outlook. They really, really do. And I think because they know that they both can be successful, I think that helps fuel the fire.
Rob, always a pleasure. Look forward to catching up with you, and we'll do it on a weekly basis when the season gets started.
I love it. Thank you. It's about that time.
Yeah, you got that right, brother. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Ron.
See ya. Rob Schmidt, the radio voice of the YSU men's basketball program. While the interview was going on, some rather stunning and disturbing news coming out of Cleveland. Let me just preface all of this by saying that this offseason was going to be an offseason where people were going to wonder how the Dolan family was going to deal with some things. And there's no secret that Lindor is going to be a free agent after the 2021 season. Carlos Santana has a very large contract and an option that is on his contract. Brad Hand has a very large contract. An option is on his contract. Cesar Hernandez is a free agent, and the list goes on. Well, one of these guys was just taken care of, and taken care of in a very stunning way. The Cleveland Indians have placed closer Brad Hand on outright waivers. Now, what this means is if a team decides that they want to pick up the contract of Brad Hand, which, by the way, the club option is $10 million. And that's not really all that expensive considering the fact Hand had literally a perfect year. He did not blow any saves in the regular season. So he was pretty solid. $10 million for a closer like Brad Hand is not a whole lot of money to spend in a normal climate. So with the Indians placing Hand on outright waivers, if a team comes in and says, hey, we're going to pick him up, they get the $10 million club option, and the Indians walk away with this scot-free. Now, that's the good news if you're looking at this from a money perspective, but the bad news is you got absolutely nothing for Brad Hand. All you did was just save money, which is what the Indians are clearly trying to do here. Now, if nobody picks him up, the Indians are going to flat out say, well, we're not going to get rid of him and just give him $1 million. Brad Hand's no longer an Indian, period. End of story. Regardless if the Indians wanted to keep him and exercise the $10 million, or if they said, hey, Brad, thanks for the memories. Here's $1 million. We're not exercising the contract. You're free to go. You're free to do anything else. No, the Indians just said, we're washing our hands of you. We're not even going to give you $1 million. We're cutting you right here, right now. We don't owe you a dime. Wow. Okay. They planned on declining the option, and that would have required paying Hand $1 million. Now, they're not even going to give him $1 million. I mean, they're essentially telling Brad Hand, hey, see you later. Now, if somebody doesn't claim him, they're supposed to they're supposed to give him $1 million if nobody claims him. But now, given the fact that they just released him, they're basically saying, have at it. He's good for anybody, and we're not giving him anything. That basically tells me, this right here tells me that the Indians are planning on doing a whole lot of cutting, a whole lot of price cutting. There's going to be a skeleton team out there, money-wise. Man, that's stunning what they just did. Outright waivers. All right, going to take a timeout. On the other end, Dom Prologo, the head football coach of the Warren JFK Eagles. He's coming up next. It is a Thursday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back with more.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions, reminding you that it is open enrollment for Medicare.
Now through December 7th, those who qualify can visit our local independent agency by calling us at 330-953-3722 or visiting us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Attention all football fans. If you can't see your team play, come and dine with us and watch it live at Boardman, Canfield, or Cortland. Or staying at home, we'll deliver right to your door. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
2020 will be a season like we've never seen before, but 21 Sports and YSN will be there for every key moment. The plays, the players, and the stories that will headline this season. Delivered by 21 Sports and YSN.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plan still meets your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
You may find yourself in some difficulty this winter. Don't get whacked by high heating bills. Call Michael at MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Michael is a trusted friend who will be able to help you with many things, like getting a 95% high-efficiency furnace this winter from Rude. Michael relies on Rude, so should you. Call MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate, 330-259-0486, and take care of your heating and air situation.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. With you till 3 o'clock, taking your phone calls, 330-886-0813. Coming into the regional semifinals in D7, Region 25, the Warren JFK Eagles will be back in their friendly confines for another week as they host Dalton. And to preview that game, we bring in the head football coach of Warren JFK, Dom Prologo. He joins us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Coach, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. All right, so last week, you guys survived a great effort by Norwalk St. Paul. We talked a little bit about this team leading up to the game on Friday night. Were you surprised with anything that Norwalk St. Paul did during the course of the game, Coach?
No. I think when we talked last week, if you remember, I think I said I felt like they were an underseeded team. They were, they're a very good program and a very good football team, really physical, great tradition. And no, what they ran offensively and defensively was what we expected. It's just, when they got down at halftime, a great program with a lot of pride is going to battle back. And they did a great job of that. And, we didn't do a good job of closing the game out. We gave up. We got a little soft there in the third quarter. That's what I told our kids. And in the fourth quarter, we gave up a home run, and so that kept them in the game. But at the end of the day, that's a heck of a program with a heck of a coaching staff, and so I didn't expect anything different than what we got from them. No.
You bring in a team that I don't even know if they're similar or not, but Dalton is one of those teams in the eastern central part of the state of Ohio around Worcester that's year in, year out. They're a solid program, probably better in basketball than they are in football. But looking at them on film, are they a similar team to Norwalk St. Paul?
No. They're not. They are. They're one of the more diverse offenses that we've faced this year. They do a lot of things offensively that challenge you. They force your kids to make sure they're lined up correctly to every formation in the book. And so, no, they're not. St. Paul is a team that's going to come right at you. This team is very diverse, and they do a lot of things that put you in a position that you're trying to make sure that you're lined up correctly. And if you're not, they're going to make you pay.
Okay, is there a team that you have played this year that is similar in the way Dalton is?
Well, with their diversity, I would say that the closest team diversity-wise might be, I'm drawing a blank, the Academy, Gilmore Academy. They're probably diversity-wise, Gilmore Academy is probably the closest team to them. But as far as skill goes, their skill reminds me a lot of what we faced against St. Thomas Aquinas. Very skilled. They're going to be a lot of wildcats. Their quarterbacks are very, very athletic. And so, yeah, there's a little bit of things that we've seen from other teams that have prepared us for this. I'll tell you the exact same thing I told my kids. This team, because of their diversity, it's like in school. You get all these different chapters through the year, and hopefully you weren't cramming for them because this is your cumulative final.
Yeah, it makes an awful lot of sense. And, the other thing that makes an awful lot of sense, especially if you're someone that is able to schedule 6 completely different teams, if you're not in a division, you can have that opportunity to schedule teams that have different type of offense or different types of defense. So when the tournament comes and the playoffs come, you're going to be able to look back and say, okay, this team reminds us of this team, and what did we do against this particular game, this particular team on this particular week? And it seems to me like you guys have faced some diversity in all kinds of different styles of the game, which I think is going to help you guys long term.
No doubt. And watch, we have a bunch of their films, and watching what we've seen that they've encountered from their opponents, they haven't seen an offense like ours, and they haven't seen the diversity that like ours would be either. Because, like you said, they're in a league. You hit it on the head. They're in a league, and every team in that league offensively seems to want to run the same type of offense. So they haven't seen, the diversity that maybe we're going to bring to the table, and so that's going to help us tremendously. And it goes back to the way we're forced to schedule around here, and we never have made excuses for that. We say, because of our history and our success, we get it why we got to schedule the way we do, and that's fine. We embrace that, and it helps us in the playoffs. That's what this is about. So yeah, I think preparedness, our schedule's got us ready for something like this.
Talk a little bit about your guys' performance offensively. I know that it was a very close game, but my goodness, it's trying to stop you guys offensively is trying to stop a boulder that's coming downhill. You're not going to stop. You're going to get run over if you try to stop this boulder. It's kind of like the same thing trying to stop you guys. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. They can slow you down, but you're not going to get stopped.
Yeah, the one game we didn't put a lot of points on the board, you can look at one thing, and that's us. You can just, look at all the penalties we had that day, the turnovers we had that day, and that's why we won a ball game 6-0. If we don't have all those penalties and those turnovers, our offense this year has been pretty prolific, and we've got some players, and our coaches have done a good job of getting the ball in their hands, and but I would be remiss if I didn't start both sides of the ball up front. And, I think our offensive line has done a tremendous job this year of opening holes and giving our quarterbacks time to get the ball to those playmakers and let them go do their thing. Our offensive line and defensive line, they've won the line of scrimmage in pretty much every game. The one game I would say that we didn't, we won it the first half of the Howland game. The second half, they dominated the line of scrimmage. So, and that's why the score ended up what it was. Against St. Paul, first half, they only ran 8 offensive plays in the first half because our offense just dominated the first half of the game. Again, though, turnover hurt us on one drive in the red zone, and then the first half ended with us in the red zone, and penalties cost us getting any points on that drive. So, the game could have, because of how well our offense was playing, could have really been out of reach by halftime, but instead we let them hang around
again, turnovers and penalties. It's two things that we've got to get cleaned up if we want to be the team we want to be.
Warren JFK head football coach Dom Prologo joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. And isn't it interesting, Coach? Every year you keep hearing the folks that want to talk about the newfangled stuff, whether it be option, read option, whether it be we're going to do a hurry up offense, we're going to do this offensively, we're going to do that offensively. Hey, look, here's a news flash that everyone needs to understand and everyone needs to memorize. You ain't going to do a damn thing unless your offensive line gets the job done. Period. End of story. Class dismissed.
100% right. That's one. You can try to do all the smoke and mirrors you want, but eventually you're going to play somebody that smoke and mirrors isn't going to work, and you're going to have to win the game up front. And that's the bottom line. If you can win up front, you've always got a chance. And I would venture to say that that's how it was 35 years ago when I played, and that's how it probably was 60 years ago when my dad played. You win up front, and you win the ball game. And that's the bottom line. So right now, you're 100% right. All these new things that are out there, you still got to win up front.
Well, and look, I mean, you don't necessarily have to win the middle of the line. I mean, look, I saw a game on Saturday night. Crestview played Garrettsville Garfield. Crestview couldn't do anything right when they tried to run the ball up the middle, but off tackle and doing the jet sweeps and power sweeps, oh my God, they were chunking yardage off of Garrettsville Garfield. So it's just because you can't do something in between the guards or up the middle or A gap, B gap, it doesn't mean that you can't run. I mean, if you go off tackle and you're able to use your speed that way, the offensive line does its job by keeping everyone where they are so your guys can perform the sweeps and the off tackle runs.
No doubt. You hit the nail on the head. And defensively, it's the same thing. You not only got to be strong up the middle. That's probably one of the things that's kind of exempt. That's probably gone where now it's you have to defend 53 yards wide. Where maybe years ago you didn't. You had to defend maybe hash to hash at a time. But so I guess these new offenses have forced you to defend 53 yards wide. But, at the end of the day, on defense, if you're strong up the middle and you can tackle on the perimeter, you're always going to have a chance no matter who you're playing against, no matter their size or anything. If you can tackle on the perimeter and you're strong up the middle defensively, you got a chance. And then offensively, you're 100% right. Even these offenses that everybody says, boy, they do a good job of getting the ball out in space to people. Somebody had to block so that quarterback could get him the ball. Somebody had to block so that guy could get the edge. Offensive linemen, they don't get enough credit for how much work they do downfield. That's what, if you come to one of our practices, that's what our offensive line is getting yelled at constantly, is to continue to work downfield and find that next guy, climb that ladder and get to the next level.
Well, that and speed kills, and you can say that on both sides of the ball. Look, I mean, if the big uglies up front are doing their job defensively, clogging the middle, you better have those linebackers, especially the outside linebackers and the strong safety and the free safety on a running play. They better be coming downhill in a very, very quick pattern to plug the holes. And then offensively, if you're able to run a jet sweep, make sure that the guy hanging on to the ball is someone that either has incredible moves or runs like the wind, and it just speed kills. And in a game, and your coach, you nailed it too. I mean, 53 yards wide. It wasn't that long ago where the field in Ohio high school football was condensed to a phone booth. Now everyone's figured out, wait a second, we got 53 yards worth of real estate to do, and now everyone's pushing the envelope, and now you better have some speed on the edges, otherwise you're not going to go anywhere.
That's 100% right. It's 100% right. So, we're fortunate that our offensive line has had a great season for us, and knock on wood, they've stayed healthy. we're also fortunate that we've got some guys on the perimeter that can do some things with the ball in their hands. And, you know, obviously we have Cam Hollabaugh. You know, when it's all said and done, if that kid doesn't win every single Division VII award, then I should just quit coaching. He's just, you know, that's the one wild card that JFK brings to the table that nobody else does.
He's a good player. There's no two ways about it. And it's not just in football. He's a tremendous basketball player. He's a tremendous baseball player. One would argue, regardless of division, this kid might be athletically one of the best athletes in the state of Ohio.
I'm right with you. There's not a program in this area. You got to remember, I spent a lot of years coaching at Canfield in Division II. We played at a high level. We went to a state championship. This kid would start on every Canfield team I coached, and that was D2 at the time. There's not a program in this area that he wouldn't be a starter and probably be their star. So I give, he's a tremendous football player, and our kids know that we've got a couple of guys that can take the ball to the house at any time. And when you're an offensive lineman, I wasn't an O-lineman, but I'm going to tell you, if I'm an offensive lineman and I'm blocking for a guy like Cam or a guy like Jesse Likens or Sejan Kudo, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if I do my job, this might go to the house. And there's a lot of teams out there that probably don't have that mindset because their kid may turn into a 20-yard game. So we've got some guys who can absolutely flat out play.
How important is that for you, Coach, to have the conversation with everyone? And the conversation goes like this: make sure that you're doing your job and you trust the other 10 guys on the field, your 10 brothers, will do their job. Nobody tries to do anything extra. Just do your job and trust that your 10 brothers are going to do the exact same thing you're planning on doing, and that's going to be our success.
Yeah, I was fortunate when I got hired here that I took over a program that the culture had already been kind of changed here, and I was part of that changing of that culture. Or maybe I shouldn't say changing. I'm saying bring back the culture they used to have here. And that is, Coach Begg did a great job of getting our kids to, believe that we were a good football team, and believe that we could play great defense or great offense and believe we had a chance to win every Friday. And then the other part of it was getting everybody to buy into trusting your brother. If you're supposed to be a C-gap player, be that C-gap player. And trust, don't try to bounce out to the D-gap because the guy gives you a move out there. Trust your safeties running the alley. And so I was fortunate to take over a program that we had already got that culture there. A lot of first-time head coaches like myself, they don't get that. They're not that fortunate. They're normally taking over a program because let's face it, if they're looking for a coach, things probably haven't been going very well there. And I was fortunate that I took over a program that things were going well. We had a lot of returning players. So all I had to do was continue to build upon, that brick foundation that Coach Bannock had put in place here. And, I'm also fortunate that I've got to coach with, Jeff Bayek for a lot of years, and he coached me. And I got to coach with Mike Paff. Those guys, they do it right, and they're really good at what they do. I mean, make no mistake that there's a reason that Canfield's still playing in what I call Week 12 of the playoffs. There's a reason that JFK's here, and Jeff Bayek has fingerprints all over the JFK team being here. And Canfield, obviously, Mike Paff just does a phenomenal job. So I've been fortunate to be around them, and hopefully the things that I've learned from them are helping us to get to the next place we want to be.
Now, I know that it's way, 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 way too early to even be discussing the opportunity that JFK might have, because you still got to earn that opportunity. But you go back into coaching lore, and I'll even go a step further back from Coach Bayek, Tony Napolet. Tony Napolet was able to deliver the state championship. Coach Bayek able to deliver his state championship, and knock on wood, pray to the football gods and pray to the God. You are given an opportunity this year to have that same hardware. One of the things I love about Kennedy is the tradition of, okay, I'm not going to be the first one to have won a state championship, but I'm going to be following in a group of people that had this opportunity. And I got to imagine for you as a coach, that's the challenge for you, that you pass on to your kids, that if you want to join this rarefied era of greatness, you are going to have to win 4 more games.
It's funny that you bring that up because, earlier in the year we talked as a team. And what are our goals? Seniors, what are our goals? Juniors, what are our goals? And at the end of the day, obviously, at a program like ours, having a goal of winning a state championship is not unrealistic. That's what you should be shooting for. We don't have a league title to win. So when we sat down and talked and we had those conversations, one of the things I reminded them was, there's a billboard outside of our field that, it talks about all the past teams, the 27 years that JFK's been in the playoffs, the amount of teams that have won regional championships. I think we've been in the state championship game 5 or 6 times, and we've won 2 of them. And, and so I talked to them about that day, grabbing a seat at the table. I said, there's a lot of different places in the auditorium on the night of the banquet that you can sit. You can be outside taking pictures of all the great teams that played before you because you didn't make the playoffs. You could be inside and be in the upper deck because you got in the playoffs and lost in week 1. I said, if you're a regional champion, I said, you're sitting in the audience right outside. I said, if you get to the state championship, you're sitting in the front row. I said, but guess what, guys? There's only 2 teams that actually have a seat at the table. If you want a seat at that table, it's there. You just got to go get it.
How important is this game, given the elements? Now, we may not have rain in the forecast on Friday. Who knows? But it's pouring down rain now. How important is this game to be played on the turf at Mollenkopf?
Oh, it's tremendous. I talked to the guys. We're going to be the game of the week, and I was talking to those guys on the phone today in an interview about the game, and I had told them that one of our keys was that we got that number 1 seed because I was really nervous that the Howland game was going to be played prior to us voting, and let's face it, there's nobody else in D7 playing a team like Howland, and I didn't want that to come into play and be something that, hey, we're playing against a D3 team. If we're not fortunate enough to win this, it cost us home field advantage. When they told us that was not going to be included, we were going to vote before that game, I was ecstatic because being the number 1 seed is huge because Dalton has a grass field, Lucas has a grass field, McDonald has a grass field. So, if you're not the number 1 seed, this week you're playing on grass. Next week you're playing on grass. And it's just like McDonald this week. They've got to go up and play at Lucas on a grass field that's probably going to be underwater. Today, they're saying we're supposed to be today up till tomorrow morning, we're supposed to have a good inch of rain. Well, if you're playing on a grass field, you're going to be underwater. And if that's the case, how does that alter the game? Now it's not just mano-a-mano. There's things that are going to happen in the game that are caused because of the field. But, Ron, we've told our kids, and my old head coach used to say it to me, Dick Angle, we've told our kids for 30 years as coaches, the team that handles the elements the best, the cold, the snow, the rain, the wind, that's the team that's going to win the game. So if you can go out and practice in this like we do and go out and not let the elements become a factor, you're going to have a great opportunity to win the game. So, but yeah, you'd hate to see a game come down to the field cost us the ball game. And it happens. Unfortunately, it happens.
Well, that won't be the case on Friday because Mullenkoff is turf, and unless you have freezing rain, then there won't be any slipping and sliding because it's perfect for it's just perfect for football. And again, hopefully, knock on wood, we don't have temperatures in the low 30s, upper 20s where it could freeze, and I don't think that's supposed to be in the forecast. So
I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're going to leave it at that because look, next week there could be the possibility of an all-local matchup. Even if McDonald loses to Lucas, you're going to be playing. If you get past Dalton, you'll be playing a very difficult team, whether it's Lucas or McDonald. But I'm going to wait on that because I'm not going to fall into the trap of asking a coach to speculate on a game that isn't necessarily set in stone because you still got work to do Friday night. I've learned my lesson. Thank you very much.
All we're worried about right now is are we good enough to beat Dalton? Can we go out and play our game and beat Dalton? And if we can, then, again, we're one step closer to getting that seat at the table that we want.
There you go. Coach, always a pleasure. Look forward to hopefully a Kennedy victory on Friday, and let's do this again next week.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
You got it. Don Perlogo, the head football coach of the Warren JFK Eagles. Let's take a timeout. Be back with more. It's a Thursday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Armstrong Local Programming has always delivered an exclusive and unique perspective on the very best events your region offers. High school sports, community events, parades, all your favorite shows from Armstrong are now calling the Neighborhood Channel their home.
Watch Out and About, Locally Speaking, and many other great local shows right here on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Find out everything that the Neighborhood Channel has to offer at ArmstrongNeighborhood.com. Spirit, town pride, local communities. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. Taking your phone calls on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. 0813. We made mention in the first hour the volleyball tournaments going on last night. There were four district tournaments going on volleyball-wise. Western Reserve, a 4-set winner over Badger. They will wind up playing Wellsville in Wellsville for the district championship as Wellsville beat Heartland Christian in straight sets. The other D4 district championship game, Columbiana defeated Newton Falls in 4 sets. They will travel to Mineral Ridge. Mineral Ridge, a straight set winner over St. John. So the area is now guaranteed 2 teams into the regional tournaments, which is kind of, it's kind of interesting. Normally, when we're doing a regular district tournament, we would only have 1 team get out of the area and go to the regionals because they supersized each district. And in reality, in a normal circumstance, you have 4 districts in each region. You have 4 districts. And then each district champion will go to the regionals. So you would have 4 teams from 4 different districts encompassing the regionals. This time around, they supersized the districts and put 2 districts together and had the team from the top tier district, whoever wins there, and the bottom tier district, whoever wins there. And the other districts sandwiched together, 2 districts together, top district, bottom district. Whoever wins those parameters winds up going to the regional tournament. So this year, where we would normally only have 1 district champion, this year we're going to have 2 district champions in Division IV volleyball because the 2 district championships from the supersized districts will all feature local teams. Western Reserve is playing Wellsville. Columbiana is playing Mineral Ridge. So we'll have 2 teams going to the districts. Division III, Crestview defeated Pie Valley 3-0. Cardinal Mooney they were a winner as well. So Mooney and Crestview will be playing each other for the D3 District Championship. Division II, Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, who polished off Hubbard in straight sets, they will be playing Lakeview, who got a victory as well. So Notre Dame Cathedral Latin and Lakeview will be playing a D2 District Championship. And Fitch won a game a couple of nights ago. They will be in Nordonia on Saturday for a Division I District Championship. So we are guaranteed a D3 regional team, and we're guaranteed 2 teams in the region in D4. So there are 3 teams that we are guaranteed to have in the regionals. D3 and D4 we have covered. If Lakeview can hold serve, pun intended, against Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, that would be 4 teams. And Fitch has a tough game at Nordonia. Not that any of these games aren't tough, but Fitch has to go on the road to Nordonia, so that will be a pretty tough team as they will be taking on Nordonia on Saturday. All of those games, by the way, starting at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And let me backtrack a little bit because we do have 2 soccer games, 2 girls soccer games that are going to be in play. We are guaranteed a Division III district champion in soccer. Tonight it's an all-local matchup. Champion is at South Range. That game starts at 6 o'clock, and hopefully the weather is going to cooperate. Now, even if it doesn't cooperate, as long as there's no lightning and it's just raining, they'll play the match. Champion is at South Range. The other game is at Canfield. Canfield will be hosting Kenston in the D2 District Championship. So there is a chance, we're guaranteed 1, and there is a chance we could have 2 girls soccer teams going to the regionals, 1 in D2 and 1 in D3. Tomorrow night, obviously, is Football Friday. We have Canfield taking on Streetsboro in Division 3 D7. We have Dalton at Kennedy, McDonald at Lucas. Those are the teams in our YSN family. Locally, but not in our family per se, D2, Harding is at Hudson. Best of luck to our all of our local teams. Saturday, we have football. But we also have, as we mentioned, the volleyball district championships where we're guaranteed 2 teams going to the regionals in D4. We're guaranteed a team in D3. Lakeview's home in D2 against Notre Dame Cathedral Latin. If they hold serve, that's another team that we'll have. And then Fitch goes to Nordonia. If Fitch wins, then we have 5 teams in the regional, encompassing all 4 divisions. Boys Soccer District Championship. D2 District Finals. Howland will be hosting Aurora, and Poland will be at Chagrin Falls. The winners of those 2 games will go on to the regionals. Division 3 District Finals. We're going to have 2 teams going to the regionals. 4 local teams. South Range will be at Badger, and Columbiana will be at Cardinal Mooney. Whoever wins these games, well, all 4 of them are local teams, so we'll have 2 local teams going on into the regional tournament. And that will be coming up on Saturday afternoon. All of those soccer games will start at 1, as I mentioned. All of the volleyball games are going to be starting at 1 o'clock. Saturday nights, the playoffs in football. Division 4, Ursuline is at Poland. Division 5, Crestview is at South Range. And Division 6, Mogador is at Springfield. The 2 all-local matchups, meaning that we are going to have a team in the regional finals in D4 as well as D5. So we'll have a local team in the regional championship game next Saturday night in D4 and D5. We're guaranteed that because we have an all-local district semifinal in D4 from Poland High School. Ursuline taking on Poland, and D5 as Crestview will be taking on South Range. And we made mention it's going to be Halloween on Saturday night. Oh, by the way, it's a full moon. Yeah, some weird stuff will happen. I'm just trying to warn everyone. Weird stuff is going to happen. It's Halloween. It's a full moon. And, yeah, it's going to be weird stuff. And it's the second time this month that it's a full moon, so it's going to be a blue moon. I'm just throwing that information out to you. By the way, regular season games in football tomorrow night. Howland will be at Marlington. Cheney is going to take a trip to the extreme east side of Cleveland to play Elyria. Western Reserve is headed to LeBray. Newton Falls will go to Waterloo. Lowellville is at East Palestine. Mineral Ridge is at Lisbon. Jackson Milton at Columbiana. Pie Valley will go to Edgewood. Grand Valley at Geneva. Beaver Local takes on West Branch, and Leetonia is at Sebring. Those are the regular season games on Friday night. All of those games will start at 7 o'clock. All of those games beginning at 7 o'clock. And it should be fun. Even though those teams their playoff aspirations are done, you still got regular season games. And for some folks, it's who knows what happens. You still got some games to be played. I know there are some divisions that are supposed to be playing all of their divisional games, and I haven't seen the Bears play the Clippers yet in the EOAC, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we have another week of football for Leetonia and Columbiana, because, you're supposed to. Just, I'm hoping that they get that game in. That would be nice. And that would be week 10. You're allowed to play 10 weeks, so we'll see. We'll see what happens there. 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. Mike Pavlansky, the head football coach of the Canfield Cardinals, will be joining me in about 8 minutes or so, and we'll talk a little bit about their victory over St. V's that took a couple of days, and their trip to Streetsboro tomorrow night, taking on the Streetsboro Rockets. And again, if you're planning on going to that game, it is so damn easy to get up there. Actually, the best way to get up there, if you really want to make it easy. Take 224 all the way out to Berlin. All the way out to Berlin Lake where you have the square at 224, and then you just follow 14, which I believe you would go halfway around the square and pick up 14, and Streetsboro is going to be about 8 miles down the road, and the football stadium and the high school are on the left-hand side. It's in the south end of Streetsboro, closest to us. Streetsboro is one of those towns that stretches out a ways. You will get to the high school before you get to the 271 480 interchange, and that whole mess that's out there, and that's the that's where everything converges into State Route 14. If you're traveling out of Cleveland and you're taking 480 all the way out to 271. And then you actually it's 271 is the furthest to or is the closest to Cleveland, and then 480. 480 will bring you towards Streetsboro, and then everything converges into State Route 14 if you want to keep on 14, and then you go past Streetsboro. And you can stay on 14 literally until you get to the square over by Berlin Lake. It's an easy directions, and it's pretty easy to get to. And if you're going to the game, well, make sure you have a umbrella. I have no idea if Streetsboro is turf or if they are natural grass. My guess is, based on the fact that they spent $1 bazillion on the incredible K through 12 building, and if you haven't seen Streetsboro's building, holy crap, that is an unbelievably nice building. My guess is, given the fact that they spent like I said, $1 bajillion on what they got, which is an impressive building, one would assume that they would have spent the extra money and put turf down. I have no idea if it's turf or not, because I've never been to a football game at Streetsboro per se, but I clearly know where the football stadium is. It's right behind the K through 12 building, and it's pretty impressive. That whole building and everything out there is pretty impressive. But Canfield takes a trip to Streetsboro, and we will catch up with the head football coach of the Canfield Cardinals, Mike Pavlansky, coming up in a couple of minutes. News of the day, in case you missed it, if you're an Indians fan, this is part one of what is probably going to be a very, very tough offseason. Brad Hand had a $10 million club option, and if he was if the Indians were to not exercise his option, they were to give him $1 million. Well, what the Indians decided to do to save even their $1 million is to place Brad Hand on outright waivers. And by doing that, not only is it their intention of declining his $10 million option if he goes unclaimed, they're also not even going to be paying him the $1 million unless a team doesn't claim him. Now, if a team does claim him, the Indians, they're not responsible for paying his $1 million buyout. If, by chance, nobody claims him. And, well, let's be honest. I mean, $10 million for a guy that had a 2.05 ERA and a ridiculous amount of saves, and he was perfect in saves to save opportunities, that's not a bad thing. You know, $10 million, that's not much to spend on a premium closer. Somebody picks him up, the Indians don't have to worry about paying him any money. If nobody picks him up, then they have to pay him his $1 million. But by releasing him or putting him on outright waivers, wow. Instead of saying, here's $1 million, best of luck to you, they're basically trying to save $1 million by putting him on waivers, hoping that someone picks him up. Now, if nobody picks him up, the Indians have to pay him $1 million. But you can see why the Indians are doing this. The Indians are doing this because they're trying to save every little penny, and $1 million in our world is pennies. So every little penny the Indians management is trying to save, and boy, is that going to piss off the fan base. All right, 330-886-0813. We'll take a timeout. On the other end, we will hear from Mike Pavlansky, the head football coach of the Canfield Cardinals. He's coming up next. Stick around.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts
Boy
to
is
curb
recovering from a broken.
Around our
Good
valley.
Community in Niles
We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County
before
Court.
they become life threatening.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
To Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
To Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Thursday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. They are in the regional semifinals. They are the Canfield Cardinals, and we're pleased to be joined by the head football coach of the Canfield Cardinals, Mike Pavlansky. Coach, great win over St. V's, and welcome to the regional semifinals.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. Great to be on again this week. It means we're playing another week, and obviously couldn't be prouder of our guys, especially our defense, and getting the win over St. V's.
Did Mother Nature get the assist on this? Because it seems to me that after the game was suspended, it gave everybody an opportunity to take a step back to try to figure out, okay, we have an opportunity to figure out what St. V's is doing, because up until that point, you guys were not doing enough offensively. Now, defensively, you guys were down 6-0, but you weren't doing a whole lot offensively. Did that time away, thanks to Mother Nature, help you guys out tremendously?
I think it certainly helped us out. We talked to our guys before we sent them home. Friday evening, that both teams are going to hit the reset button, and the team that handles that reset better is going to have a great opportunity of winning on Saturday night, and I think our guys did. You're right. Defensively, we were playing tremendous defensive football, only giving up 2 field goals when we put our defense in bad field position in the second quarter with that fumble. And offensively, we were struggling. There's no doubt about that. Our kids went and hit the reset button. Our coaches hit the reset button. Came in Saturday afternoon about 3:30, and kind of pared things down and, talked to our offense about it, and they liked what we were presenting to them. We went out and executed in the second half a lot better, than we did on Friday night.
How important was it to have this game in Canfield, knowing full well Mother Nature was going to do what she did, and that's going to have this team go all the way back to Akron to go home, get a good night's sleep, and come from Akron all the way back to Canfield to restart the game on Saturday? How important was that for your team to have home field advantage this past weekend?
Well, it certainly helps out that we didn't have to travel. But again, it's just the team that handles the reset better, has a great chance of winning. Hey, I'll tell you the story of 2009 opening game. We had to travel to Worcester and went down to Worcester, and we were losing 14-3 middle of the second quarter, and Lightning came and they canceled the game. And the next day we had to drive all the way back, to Canfield. Got on a bus the next night, went back to Worcester, and ended up winning the game 24-21. So certainly the home team has an advantage, but it's the team that handles that 24-hour time period better that ultimately wins the game.
Mike Pavlansky, the head football coach of the Canfield Cardinals, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. Are there any similarities, offensively or defensively, between Streetsboro and Akron St. Vincent St. Mary?
Oh, absolutely. They both have tremendous lines. They both have tremendous skill. Streetsboro's got Michael Holt Jr., 6'3", 295, committed to Ohio State. He's a senior. He dominates up front. We've got to find a way just to slow him down. We're not going to stop him. We got to slow him down. They have another young man, 6'4", 270, who plays defensive tackle on the other side, who is also a tremendous football player, looks like a D1 player. The same as St. V's had. They had tremendous guys up front. And then from a skill position, their tailback, Rich McAllister, has over 1,500 yards on only 95 carries. So do the math on that. That's over 15 yards a carry. Last week against Dover, he ran the ball for 300 and some yards and only 21 carries. So, they're an explosive offense. They can air it out. Their quarterback's a junior, can run the ball and throw it, same as St. V's did. A lot of similarities. The tremendous football teams. There's no doubt you get to this level, Ron, everybody's good, and you're going to have to play your best ball to move on.
Let's talk a little bit about their running back. Is he getting the majority of his yardage on the edge, or is the offensive line blasting out holes for him?
Both, to be honest with you. When you chart it, they certainly like to run sweeps with him in outside zones, and he hits a crease, and you're not going to catch him. But they will also get into a stack guy, put him as that third tailback, and run the ISO right at you. So they can do it both ways. It's just which way they're going to choose to try and attack you.
The bottom line, you're going to have linebackers that know their area and are flying to the ball in order to have any kind of success any which way in this game.
Absolutely. That's certainly when the defense is on the field. To be honest with you, the best defense is to keep your offense on the field. We got to find a way to start a lot faster than we did last Friday night. If we have the same start as last Friday night, it's going to be tough sledding the rest of the evening.
And normally you don't hear very much from Streetsboro. It's normally in previous years. I mean, they've been an okay team, but they really haven't had this type of talent. And it's interesting to have a team that, by and large, hasn't really been this far in a playoff scenario in a while. The experience factor, can that be an advantage for you guys, assuming that you continue to stay with Streetsboro? The longer you stay with them, does the experience factor win out?
Well, you got to hope so, because we've been in a lot closer games than Streetsboro has. Their closest game was against Field, 35-0, and then against Niles, 41-6. So they really haven't been pushed to the fourth quarter, where we've been pushed a number of times into the fourth quarter before we're able to pull the game out. So we hope that the longer the game goes, the better we'll handle that. As far as the program's concerned, they were in the playoffs last year and beat St. V's in the first round. Michael Hall played for them last year, and they ended up getting St. V's. But this year they got 4 transfers in from the Akron City schools that when Akron decided they were not going to play football this fall, these 4 young men, 2 from East, 2 from Bookville, found their way to Streetsboro, which I'm glad that they're able to play the game. So they got 4 transfers that are dominant players for them, and much better football team today than they were a year ago.
When you take on a player that has a high D1 caliber, like the kid that's going to go to Ohio State, now, clearly you're going to have to find a way to make sure that this kid isn't in the backfield, whether it's tackling a ball carrier for a loss or sacking your quarterback. You normally double team, but as you mentioned, the kid on the other side, he ain't chopped liver. So,
No.
I mean, you got to pick your poison here.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to be smart about, what plays we're calling, and then our quarterbacks hopefully being coached well enough this week that they understand when to check out of a play and check into a new one. Obviously, if we have too many mental mistakes about what we want to do with the ball when we're on offense, it's going to be a long night.
Running backs are set to do some chip blocking?
Absolutely. Them, guards, the manager coming off the sideline, any way we can get it done, we're going to try to.
Coach, I want to see your manager try to chip block one of these guys. Just suit him up one time and let's see what he can do here.
Hey, sometimes our managers are our best weapons, believe me. They contribute a lot to our program.
Okay, obviously you guys have your game plan, and we're not even going to approach that, but clearly with a team as talented as Streetsboro, one of the things that's that I've thought of, and I'm sure you have as well, is the fact that this team has mercy ruled everybody. So that means that they have not played 4 complete quarters of football. They have played on a running clock the entire time. If you get them into a game in which they're going to have to play 48 minutes of football, does conditioning come into the factor?
I think so. I mean, we've talked to our guys about this, that they haven't played 48 minutes, traditional football. They've had the running clock going in the second half. And, the longer it's close and the longer that we can hang with them, the better chance we'll have because, again, we've played in those 4-quarter battles. One was last week, and where you got to play every play to the final bell.
Well, and there's a phrase that I absolutely love in the coaching world, and that's keep chopping wood. And I got to believe that message during the course of Friday night in Streetsboro, hey, just keep chopping wood. If you guys are hanging on to the ball offensively for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, but there were no points scored, but you hung on to the ball and you got that defense on the field for 4 or 5 minutes. Look, I mean, in the perfect world, you want to score every time you have the ball, not to mention the fact you want to keep the ball for at least 4 or 5 minutes. But, hey, if you're keeping the ball for that amount of time and you keep that defense on the field, keep chopping wood. Sooner or later, that tree's going to fall.
Absolutely. And, again, well said, Ron, and, we certainly believe that, and we're hoping that occurs tomorrow night. What
is the one thing that Canfield must have to have any chance at winning on Friday night in Streetsboro?
Yeah, it's certainly never one thing, Ron. But if you're going to target defense, we got to stop the big play. They score on more big plays, big runs, big pass plays than anybody we have faced this year. From an offensive standpoint, we've got to be able to sustain drives and stay on the field. And then from a special team standpoint, we've got to have great coverage teams like we had last week. I think, if my memory serves me correct, between a punt return and a kickoff return for St. V's, they had 3 punt returns and 3 kickoff returns for a total of 7 yards. That type of coverage team has got to show up tomorrow night.
Oh, no question. And look, I mean, if you have a guy that can kick the ball routinely into the end zone, that's a great weapon to have as well.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And none of those kicks went to the end zone. Our kicker did a tremendous job placing the football on the field where we asked them to, and we had great coverage teams. None of the balls even get close to the end zone. It just, great height on the pooch kicks, great squib kicks that's difficult to handle. And Chris Samarone, our punter, averaged 38 yards on 3 punts last week. 2 of them were down inside the 10-yard line. Just did a tremendous job of his placement where nobody was able to return the football on a punt.
Yeah, I was going to say the field position and the punter has an awful lot to do with the field position. I mean, that's going to be so incredibly important against a team that can strike anywhere, anytime. But if you consistently put them behind the 20-yard line, I got to believe that's going to give you guys an even better chance at winning this game.
It should, Ron. There's no doubt. when you get the ball there, statistics tell you the offense has a difficult time scoring. But you better stop the big play because there's a lot of 75, 85-yard runs we've seen on tape for these guys.
The DBs, and obviously the Streetsboro can beat you with a run, but they can also beat you with a pass. The DBs, specifically the corners, are they comfortable being on their island if their run game is solid and they start doing the play action pass where you have to respect that run? Are these corners comfortable enough to be on the island and salivate at this one-on-one coverage they're about to have?
Absolutely. Luke Morrell's a 2-year starter for us. He's had himself another wonderful year. Last week did a tremendous job against the fast receivers from St. V's. On the other side, saw junior Oliver Kovats first year that you could just see the leaps and bounds of his growth every week. And last week had a couple great plays in the secondary to knock away a pass that could have potentially been a big play. I think those guys are playing with great confidence. They're out there by themselves. I think they know they can get the job done.
You guys will be playing on the turf. It was, I'd wondered if Streetsboro spent some extra money, with the bajillion dollars that they spent building that incredible K-12 building at Streetsboro. They did get the extra money to have a turf field, and that helps for you guys because you've been playing on turf all year long, so you don't have to go back to the go from turf to grass, which is a tough adjustment to make. That's the good news. The bad news is, well, Streetsboro is pretty fast, and on turf they're pretty faster.
Yeah, no doubt. We're certainly glad we're not playing on grass, especially with the wet weather we've had this week. And we'll go up there. It's supposed to be dry tomorrow night, somewhere in the 30s, and give it the best effort we can.
Coach, hopefully next week we have an opportunity to do this again. That would mean that you're in the regional championship game. But I mean, look, let's be honest. The last AP poll came out, and all 4 teams that are left in Division 3, Region 9. All 4 teams are in the top 10 from the Associated Press. And look, the polls may not mean all that much, but they do recognize really good teams. And let's be honest, this region might be the best region in the state of Ohio, regardless of division.
I tell you what, I think you're right there, Ron. And, we're very aware of the fact that, Streetsboro is one of the top teams in the state, and unfortunately they're in our region. But, again, no matter where you go this time of the playoffs, you're going to run into really good football teams. And you're going to have to play your best of the year or the season's going to be over.
And it goes without saying, get past this region and the state tournaments, they kind of look like a walk in the park compared to what you've been through the last couple of weeks.
I'd like to find through this week and concentrate on next week if we're fortunate enough.
See, I tried to do it. Stupid me. I'm trying to get you guys to look ahead, and you ain't gonna do it, which is a good thing because that tells me that you're focused on Streetsboro and your focus is right where it should be, and not where us dumb media people have it.
We've told our kids all week long, don't look into the future. On Monday, if you look towards Friday, you might not be playing Friday because of the virus or something crazy happens. So don't look into the future. Look at today, get better today, enjoy today, be thankful for today, and show up tomorrow and see what happens. We're going to get through our walkthrough here in a few minutes and then, show up tomorrow, drive to Streetsboro and give a good account for ourselves and represent our community and school as best we can. And, if we wake up Saturday morning and we're winners, then we'll concentrate on next week.
One final thing, Coach, and again, thanks a lot for coming on board. 3,500 plus cases today. That was announced by Governor DeWine in his 2 o'clock sit-down with everyone. How disconcerting is that, knowing that is by far and away the most COVID cases? And look, let's be honest, we have no guarantees, like you said. We have no guarantees that we're going to be playing football after today. So how worrisome are you with those numbers being at where they are?
Yeah, number one, Ron, obviously the people that have contracted the virus, obviously you just hope and pray that they get healthy. Number two, like we tell our kids, those decisions are out of our control. So let's not sit around and be frustrated and upset and, worried about things that we can't control. we can control how we practice. We can control how we play if we're fortunate to play on a Friday night. And if somebody says, hey, listen, for the betterment of our society, the betterment of the state of Ohio, we're doing A, B, and C, well, we're certainly going to jump in the line.
Coach, best of luck to you tomorrow night. It should be a hotly contested game up in Streetsboro. All the best to you, and fingers crossed we get to do this again next Thursday.
Appreciate it, Ron. Great to talk to you.
Same here. Mike Pavlansky, the head football coach of the Canfield Cardinals, and best of luck to them. This is going to be a good game. Streetsboro is no joke, kids. This team has mercy ruled everybody that they have played this year. They have been as dominant a team as any team, regardless of division in the state of Ohio. And that's kind of a scary thing. But here, if you look at the glass half full, if you're able to play with this team and be competitive with this team, you're going to force this team to do something that they have not done all year long. And that is a 48-minute game where you have to play football without the benefit of a running clock. And I think conditioning might be the bottom line in this if Canfield can play and hang with Streetsboro. The longer they hang with Streetsboro, the better chance they have at winning this game, because Streetsboro has not been in a close game all year long. And you can sit back and say, well, talent's always going to win. Okay, but this is talent that hasn't been tested at all. At all. They have not been tested. They're going to get tested tomorrow night. Make no mistake about that. They're getting tested tomorrow night. They haven't been tested all year long. They're getting tested tomorrow night. Tell me what you can do with a team that's not going to get mercy ruled. Tell me what you can do with a team that's not going to lose by 30-plus points. They're getting tested tomorrow night. Let me see what Streetsboro is made of, because I have a feeling that if Canfield pushes the right buttons, they're beating Streetsboro tomorrow night. I just have a feeling. We're going to take a timeout. Coach Williams is on board next. McDonald is looking to do the little revenge tour as they go into Lucas, and that is the site of last year's overtime loss that propelled Lucas to the state title game. We'll talk with Coach Dan Williams of the McDonald Blue Devils. That's all coming up in a bit. Stick around, more to come.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Ruud gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Ruud, and so should you.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions, reminding you that it is open enrollment for Medicare.
Now through December 7th, those who qualify can visit our local independent agency by calling us at 330-953-3722 or visiting us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Attention all football fans. If you can't see your team play, come and dine with us and watch it live at Boardman, Canfield, or Cortland. Or staying at home, we'll deliver right to your door. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
2020 will be a season like we've never seen before, but 21 Sports and YSN will be there for every key moment. The plays, the players, and the stories that will headline this season. Delivered by 21 Sports and YSN.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
You may find yourself in some difficulty this winter. Don't get whacked by high heating bills. Call Michael at MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Michael is a trusted friend who will be able to help you with many things, like getting a 95% high-efficiency furnace this winter from Ruud. Michael relies on Ruud, so should you. Call MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate, 330-259-0486, and take care of your heating and air situation.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to a Thursday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com, courtesy of Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Let's go to the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, where we bring in the head football coach of the McDonald Blue Devils, Dan Williams. Coach Williams, how are you today, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Congratulations on your victory last weekend over my alma mater. You guys jumped on them early and often. Jumped out to a 28-0 lead. Leetonia comes back in the third quarter with a couple of touchdowns to make things interesting, and then you guys pull away at the end. Overall, the performance that you guys gave against Leetonia, what kind of a grade would you give overall?
Yeah, I'd probably give us a B, actually. It was one of our best games of the year. We played a great first half where I think we limited them to like 73 yards of total offense. And we finally put our entire, our defense played their best half of the season, actually. And then, we came out the second half and, they ended up scoring their first series and then surprised, our guys on an onside kick and recovered again and then put another one in. But, we rebounded from there and came back and I think we scored a couple. On our next two possessions, actually, we scored touchdowns and, pulled away again. But, I think our kids, stepped up and played one of the best football games of the year.
One of the things that I was really impressed with, when Leetonia got it to 28-16, I thought, okay, now we're going to find out just how good this McDonald team is because you pounded Leetonia in the first half. No two ways about that. Bears get back into this ball game somewhat, and then you guys score immediately right after Leetonia made it 28-16, and that's when I sat back and said, okay, now I'm convinced this McDonald team, they can play with anybody because of the way you guys bounced back. And Dominic Shadle, my God, that kid is impressive, and I don't even think that adjective suits him well. I think that there's more adjectives you can describe to say how great his game was. But I thought that when you guys scored after Leetonia made it 28-16, that just told me all I needed to know about how good your program is.
Yeah, that was a great answer by our kids, and like I said, they got a quick score on us, and they surprised us with an onside kick, and those type of things sort of happen. We had some young kids on that kick return team, but then when it was 28-16, our kids came back, responded, they knew what they had to do, put more points up, and we did, and then it ended up being 35, I think 24. Then I think a little while after that, and our kids responded again to make it 41. So. Yeah, we had two good, responds, two good comebacks off their scores, and actually I think we scored on every possession, but the one possession we had a fumble. We caught a pass and fumbled, but so we scored on every possession. We had the football except for the one we kneeled on at the end and then the one fumble.
All right, so you guys, you get an opportunity to exercise a demon that's been around in the last year or so. You went to Lucas last year, lost to Lucas in overtime. Lucas winds up going to the state championship game last year. You guys get another opportunity to take on Lucas this year. Is there anything that you learned from last year that you incorporate this year?
Well, they run a real unorthodox style of offense where they're like a double tight, foot-to-foot splits, double wing, and everybody's crammed into a small area. And then they like to just pull a bunch of guys and get guys up through the offensive line, and it's like a scrum almost. So it's a tough offense to reckon with. Last year we went into the game and we put a game plan together, and we thought it was a good game plan, and it was. We held them to 14 points and then went to overtime where they scored another touchdown. But I thought we did a pretty good job of stalemating their offensive, scheme of things. But so I think if we get a positive out of this year going down and playing them once again, it's that we've been there, done that, and seen their offensive scheme. So we tweaked a couple things off of our game plan from a year ago, and we got better kids is what we have. We were young last year. We had 4 seniors. So our whole entire, offense and defense are back from a year ago, and they had 7 or 8 seniors that started on their team last year, so they lost those kids. So I just think I tell our kids, we're playing the 2020 Lucas team, not the 2019, and I feel that we're a better football team this year. So I think we have a great shot to go down and win.
Is their team's offense the type of offense where you can essentially put 9 or 10 guys in the box and dare them to throw the ball?
Yeah, that's sort of exactly what we're going to do. We're going to put probably about 9 guys, maybe 10 guys in the box, and we're definitely going to try to ramp up our defense and stop their run. And there's some keys that they throw out at us. We're going to key the tight ends when they release a certain way. We got to expect pass, and when they block down and do some things, we're going to expect run. But so yeah, definitely going to gang up the line of scrimmage and try to force them to throw the football.
Without even seeing this team on film, based upon what you just said their offense is, that tells me that you guys are going to have an insanely large advantage in team speed. And I might be wrong in this, but offensively, spread them out and just go to town.
Yeah, that's our game plan. We've been doing that all year, and with Dominic Shadle, Logan Hawk, and Nate Gilligan, and Dominic Carquito, Greg Dixon. We got some skilled kids on the perimeter that are going to, cause them some problems. So, yeah, that's definitely what we're going to do. And I even told our kids, and our coaching staff, I said, I wouldn't mind taking, getting a 10, 11, 12 play drive and then scoring points after that as well, just to keep their offense off the field. And, so if their offense off the field, they're not putting a pounding on our guys. And that's what their name of their game is, to just try to wear you down, and if we're out there scoring points and we're doing some methodical drives ourselves, but then again, we have that Shadle kid. He keeps scoring on, long runs. So that blows all your strategy when he breaks a 75-yarder for a touchdown on the second play of the drive.
Coach, is it safe to say that Lucas's strength relies on their offensive and defensive line? Are they big up front?
Yeah, you know what? They have two big kids. They got a kid, their center's 280, and he doesn't even play defense. And then they got an offensive tackle that weighs 260, and he plays defensive tackle. So They're not necessarily huge. They were a year ago, a lot bigger last year, where they probably averaged about 265, 270 up front. This year, not as big. They're playing some younger guys. They start a freshman at safety on defense. They start 2 or 3 sophomores in the secondary on defense. So they're a little younger this year as well. So I just think their toughness is what separates them from a lot of other teams. You know, they're real physical. Their physicality, I think, is somewhat intimidating to teams, and that's what we pride ourselves on here at McDonald as well, being physical and being a tough, hard-nosed team.
Those are my kind of matchups, and I don't know the league that Lucas plays in specifically, but anytime that you can get tested by your league, you know that it's going to do you well come the postseason. And you look, I mean, the MVAC Scarlet Division, you had to play Springfield. You have to play Western Reserve. You got to play Jackson Milton. You played them in the postseason. Mineral Ridge was a tough team to play. So, you know, the 4 teams that I just mentioned, and Lowellville, you got to throw them in there as well. Those teams kind of prepare you for a good postseason run.
Yeah, definitely. Our league is definitely a league that week in and week out you got to be prepared for, got to be ready to play, and it's a physical league and it's a run-oriented league. And the last 3 weeks now, you know, we had to go up against teams that like to run the football. You know, the Jackson Miltons and the Latonians. Now here we go against Lucas. Lucas plays they're an independent actually, so they're down in that Mansfield area where they played some teams that we're unfamiliar with a little bit, but I know they played up a little bit. They lost to 2 Division IV schools, Shelby and a team named Galleon, 2 teams. And Shelby's still playing. They're 8-0, still playing in Division IV. So, yeah, they've gone through the same sort of thing where they've been tested with some good competition. And so I think both schools are well tested, you know, and I think it's going to be a heck of a matchup.
You know, it's pouring down rain, and obviously when you're playing on grass tomorrow night, and look, you might have some nice weather tomorrow night, but you know the more rain it gets tonight, and early tomorrow morning, even though you might have clear skies Friday night, you're not going to have a clear track per se. Who does that give the advantage to?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to say. We're not real happy about that, to be honest. You know, the state's done what they've done and sort of put this season together, and we're happy to be playing, believe me. But typically we're playing on a neutral site at this time period of the playoffs, and it's usually on a turf field, of course, and this year it's not. So we can't bellyache about that and can't make excuses about that. But I think if you look at an advantage, you know, I think, you know, with their power running game, they sort of have a little advantage. I think I told, you know, our coaching staff we can try to score early and often if we can, you know, before the field starts to get a little bit too muddy later in the game. But, yeah, I would say it leans towards them, you know, being at home and then having that power running game.
Well, blame Independence for all of this, because if Independence had beaten Lucas, you guys would be home tomorrow night.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we watched that game. It was on YouTube, actually. I watched it live, as a matter of fact, Saturday night. And I was definitely rooting for the Blue Devils down there, the other Blue Devils from Independence. But didn't turn out that way. So, you know, we're going to have to play the hand we're dealt. And like I said, you know, I just wish things were like every other year. And the COVID has really hit us, you know, and made a bunch of changes in Ohio high school. But, you know, and typically we'd be on a neutral field with a turf surface. And I think if that was the case, you know, I think we'd have the advantage then with our quickness and team speed.
Well, obviously, the other part of the COVID world is you're not allowed to, or you're not able to bring as many people to watch the game. And you look, I went to I was fortunate enough to get a ticket to see Crestview play Garrettsville Garfield. And when you don't have a lot of people in the stands, it's kind of it's kind of disheartening, especially in the postseason. Now everyone made some noise, don't get me wrong, but you know, if you don't have as many people in the stands, that's kind of disappointing if you look back and you see very few people in the crowd.
Right. Yeah, and you know what, and it's really disheartening for us this week. We're actually getting 75 tickets to go down to Lucas. That's the number we're given. They got a very small visiting stand, and I feel bad for the parents and the kids' grandparents and what have you. Our kids are typically getting 4 tickets a week, and now this week we're down to giving underclassmen 2 tickets and the seniors 3 tickets. So it's really unfortunate, you know, that COVID's done what it's done, and the things have had to change because of it. And you know, like I said, take nothing away. We're happy to be playing football at this time of year. There's no question about it. And we're playing a lot more football than I think a lot of us ever thought we would have to play or be able to play. But I just feel bad for the families, you know, that aren't able to. You know, kid's he's in a regional semifinal game. It might be the biggest game of the kid's life, and you know, he might only get one or two parents or one, you know, whomever to the game. So it's unfortunate, but you know, it's something we just got to live with and move on and make the best of.
Well, everyone meets in one centralized location in one of the restaurants in McDonald. And let's go to ysnlive.com, have the establishments show that on the TVs, and everyone can see the game.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's going to happen. People are going to be in garages, and they're going to be in any way they can do that to get together and watch the football game and be cheering us on from a distance. And that's what's nice about our community, small-knit community, and everybody, you know, rallies on our team. And you know, and everybody's excited. This is a special time of year, you know, so we're all excited and hope to bring them back a win tomorrow night.
Well, let's exercise some demons on the day before Halloween and get yourself into the regional championship game, Coach.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. We're gonna try our best.
You got it. Best of luck to you.
All right, thanks, Ron.
All righty, Dan Williams, the head football coach of the McDonald Blue Devils, as McDonald heads to Lucas to take on Lucas. And, well, game last year, they took Lucas to overtime. Lucas beat them. That jacked them up to the point where Lucas not only won their region, they went to the state championship game. McDonald trying to return the favor, at least exercise that demon. Not to mention the fact Lucas beat McDonald in the regional semifinals in basketball. Now, okay, I understand. It's a completely separate sport. I get it. But the fact that Lucas beat McDonald again and had another boys team denied again. Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. And hopefully McDonald is going to be able to exercise a demon on Friday night, the night before Halloween, as they go to Lucas and take on Lucas in what is probably going to be a horrible field. Even though it might stop raining, I don't know, early afternoon or something like that. And even if there's no rain in the forecast Friday night, there's going to be more than enough rain now, tonight, and early tomorrow morning that track is not going to be, it's not going to be dry. It's just not. So football in a phone booth with the field all chewed up. You better score early. You better score often. And then take care of business. I think the team that gets out to an early lead while the field is still in pretty decent shape, and it's a grass field. If it were turf, I think McDonald wins this game hands down. But I think whoever jumps out to a lead while the field is in decent shape and it's not chewed up, I think that's the team that's going to wind up winning the game tomorrow night, and hopefully McDonald is that team. That'll do it for the show. Many, many thanks to the coaches that we brought in. Coach Pavlansky from Canfield. Let's do this in order, though. Coach Perlogo from Warren JFK. Coach Pavlansky from Canfield, and Coach Williams from McDonald. Power Hour is coming up next. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll do it tomorrow, a Football Friday edition of Running Points, tomorrow from noon to 3 on ysnlive.com. We get a great